Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Orange County School Board's regular meeting scheduled for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Let me double check. We have members Farrant, Douglas, Member Byrd, Vice Chair Byrd today, members Vanos, Gallo, and Felder. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Vice Chair Salamanca could not be with us today. As a reminder, board members will not be engaging in outside electronic or digital communication during the meeting so that we can focus on the business in front of us. And to my fellow board members and district staff members and members of the public who may be speaking to the board, please make sure that when you're speaking that your microphone is turned on and speak as directly into it as you can. You can probably tell already the microphone is very, very sensitive. We'd like to make sure that all of our YouTube and Orange TV viewers have an opportunity to hear what you're saying. We will now pause for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Now for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have no idea what happened down at the end of the dais.
She never pauses. When I think she should pause for the Pledge of Allegiance this time, she paused. There's no comma.
Oh, yes.
There is a comma.
No, I thought it was an Apopka thing.
No.
One nation under God, right? One nation under God. Not one nation under God. It's one nation under God.
One nation under God.
No, you said
No, it's one nation under God.
But she paused, and so that's what that was about.
We're not.
Moving on.
Mayor Land, I would say, God rest his soul, but it's not resting right now because he would tell you emphatically, unequivocally, it is one nation under God. And Mr. Palmerini will back that up. We've never had this conversation before, actually, but I've been on this board for 7.5 years, and I have been listening back and forth to the different iterations. So this is our first time of publicly discussing this. Welcome to Orange County Public School Board meetings.
Madam Chair.
Actually, we have Mr. Palmerini.
I can confirm the first time I did the pledge in front of John Land, Ms. Palmerini, you know you did it incorrectly, right? So, yeah, he has
Exactly.
absolutely no pause within it. So, yes, thank you for reminding me
Absolutely.
of that.
That's where I learned. That's where I got. He didn't correct me, but that's where I learned. It was hard to miss it. Also, he always started out with a piece of interesting history, Mr. Palmery. He would always start out with a really interesting piece of history when I called on him. So, with that in mind, I was going to call on Member Felder for an interesting piece of history.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. Today is March 10th, and this is the day around in 1990, the United States government declared this day to be Harriet Tubman Day. Harriet Tubman was a woman who was fearless, and this is Women's History Month, March. She was fearless because she had the mitigated gall, to after she was freed from slavery, she went back without having a navigator, she went back, led by the Spirit of God, to grab other slaves, to bring them to freedom. And we are living in such a time now that people are concerned about their freedoms, they're concerned about their rights, and as a public school entity here, Orange County Public Schools, we do our best to educate our children and to let them know that they matter. Harriet Tubman was not able to go to school. She did not know how to read and write, but she understood through her passion to do that which was right, that slavery was not the natural cause of an individual. That is not the natural state of a person to be enslaved. So as we women on this board, John is our lawyer here, but the women on the board, this is March, Women History Month. I thought we would make that tidbit of information known to you. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Member Felder. Thank you. And now it's time for our spotlight recognition. This is an opportunity for board members to celebrate exceptional employees. These are individuals who represent the very best of our district. Board Member Byrd, would you please share with us a little about your honorees?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Chair. In fact, I have to apologize and thank my honorees for having to wait 2 weeks, or a month actually, because they were supposed to come at the last board meeting, but I was home very sick. So I appreciate you guys holding out for me. I am so thrilled to share with everyone a true passion project in our community, and it's a fabulous annual event that I host with 3 amazing schools. Really, all I do is help provide the funding and say, how can I help? And that's pretty much it, because they are the ones that do all the work. It's a fabulous event. We call it the Community Celebration. And at this time, I would like to invite the team that's behind the heart and soul of this event to come forward. We've got LaMarcus Jackson, who is a program coordinator at Wekiva High School. And his beautiful baby, who's back there too. He's so precious.
What happened to the baby?
I know. Why is the baby not up here? The baby's like the star, but okay.
Baby will be here in time for pictures.
We have Kayla Burton, who's Senior Manager of Community Schools at Wekiva High School. And she's the social worker for Piedmont Middle School as well. Impressive. Randy Thomas, who is a dear friend of mine, who I'm thrilled to have here. Now, my script says the program coordinator at Piedmont Lakes Middle School, but she is actually the media specialist now at Piedmont Lakes Middle School. And then we have Mandy Austin, who's the program coordinator at Lakeville Elementary. So these are just the handful of the people that make this event that we have every year possible. But I also want to thank Fred Ray. He's not here tonight, but he is now the principal at Ocoee High School. But this event was started when he was the principal at Piedmont Lakes Middle School. And him and I, one day in his office, were like, we should do this event where we bring the community together and all the families, and maybe have a few schools participate. And so we did it, and it just has gotten bigger and bigger every year. And now he is actually doing it over at Ocoee High School in the Ocoee community as well. But this celebration is all about one thing. It is about it's about making sure that our students and our families and the people of Apopka feel connected to one another. By opening up the Wekiva High School campus, these leaders here create a space where you aren't just a face in the hallway, but you're a neighbor, and you're part of a family. It's a day for families to grab a bite to eat, for kids to play, and for everyone to build the kind of relationships that make our town feel like a home. It's such a fun day, you guys. Seriously, it's like my favorite thing. Last year we had a DJ, petting zoo, bounce houses. We were giving away backpacks and books. The entire gym is filled with different community resources for people to check out. All the schools come together and show kind of the activities that they have. Students in the elementary school can learn about the fun things they can sign up for in the middle school and in the high school. The FFA is out there from Wekiva High School with all their animals, and that gets all the younger kids excited. I think we got the water polo team in one of these pictures showing. It's this cool event where the elementary kids and the middle school kids and the high school kids and their parents and their families all in Apopka can all come together in this space at Wekiva High School and just be a community for a day. And it's just so much fun. And I remember last year as I was walking out to my car, as I was leaving, there was a family walking near me, and they had little ones, and the little ones were just jumping up and down. They had all their prizes and all their stuff, and they were like, that was so much fun. I had the best time, Mom. So it's such a cool feeling when you see families out together having a good time and feeling like they're part of a bigger community. And I really just love the idea that our younger kids are getting to see all the fun and exciting things that are in store for them as they age up through the system. And it gets them excited about going to school and excited about middle school and high school. So it's a super fun event. These people work their tails off all year long getting ready for this event. Coordinating everything, coordinating all the different school groups that show up, and it's just, they make it work. So I am so incredibly grateful to them. And I appreciate all of you allowing me this time to recognize them and recognize their hard work. So mark your calendars, because the 3rd annual community celebration is happening Saturday, April 11th at Wekiva High School. So let's get some pictures.
Look happy on 3. Look happy again. One more. Good. 1, 2, and perfect. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Families. Yes.
Just the baby. Just the baby. Any other babies?
Frank, you read my mind. I was looking around. I think that's the only baby in the audience. We have a very cute little one over here. Up for adoption.
Good. Big smile. Look up. And on 3. Good. 1, 2, and 3. Look up again. Hold on. We got the baby. And we got a little belly going on.
Is that the babies or the dads?
There we go. Good. Stay there. Perfect. Thank you.
Love it. All right. Also joining us this evening is Nora Rodriguez Patterson, Chief Communications Officer, and Stefani Montalvo.
Stephanie Montalvo.
Montalvo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your version is just mine.
Pardon?
Your version is just mine. Montalvo.
Montalvo. Thank you. And I'd also like to invite Debbie Pedraza, Executive Director of the Foundation for Orange County Public Schools, to join them at the dais with their team. Tonight, Addition Financials is here to present a check to the foundation for $59,697.87. These funds represent a donation for every swipe purchase made by credit union members using their co-branded OCPS debit cards. In 2025, our community used these cards for almost $2 million in transactions. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest gesture adds up to something great. To put this partnership into perspective, Since the program began, Addition Financial has provided more than $920,000 in total donations to the foundation. $920,000. We're quickly approaching the $1 million mark in total contributions from these transactions alone. And on behalf of the school board, we're honored to have this continued support. These funds provide vital resources to invest in our students. Thank you, Addition Financial, for your commitment to our district, and thank you to every member whose daily purchases made this possible. Do you have some remarks for us, I hope?
I do, but honestly, you said it so well that I'm not quite sure how I can top that. So, I came with a fancy speech. Let me skip that altogether and let me just speak from the heart.
Definitely.
We at Addition Financial were founded in 1937 by Orange County teachers. It is not necessarily something that we brag about for the sake of bragging about. It's really our roots. It's our honor to really keep tied to those roots and to that heritage and to really pay it forward. And so today, as we come and present this check to you, is really an expression of gratitude from our humble beginnings to where we are today. Today, we are a large organization, but we really remain committed to our education roots, and we just want to say thank you. So thank you for allowing us to be part of who you are. Thank you for allowing us to partner with you, and thank you for just really delivering quality education to our Orange County students.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ms. Pedraza, while you're at the dais, thank you so much for the critical role you play. We don't often get an opportunity to recognize you and to appreciate all you do. You want to take just a minute to explain to the audience the role of the foundation?
I would love to. The Foundation for Orange County Public Schools is the designated direct support organization for the district. We exist solely to make sure that our students, our teachers, our schools, and all of our programs have the resources they need. So that's what we do. We seek and secure time, talent, and treasure to make sure that everyone has what they need to help all of our children reach their greatest possible potential. It's an honor to do it. My team is phenomenal. As every department is, we are little, but we are fierce. And we are very proud to do this work, and it is such an honor to work with partners like Addition Financial, again, to make sure that our kids are able to reach their potential.
Yeah.
They are our greatest treasure, our kids. We want to make sure we invest in them every day.
And your team is fierce. They're fun, and they're fantastic.
Yes, they are.
But mostly they're fun.
Mostly fun.
Ms. Pedraza, I've always wanted to know, what year was the foundation founded?
Established. It was established in 1987.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
we've got a 40th anniversary coming up next year.
Yeah.
And some fun plans.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember early on, probably very early on, being at one of your luncheons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cool to know. So a lot of you probably don't realize, but the funding that we get from the state is it's pretty limited, and based on the cost of living, it's actually becoming more and more limited relative to the expense of living here. And so a lot of the costs that our teachers experience with trying to make sure that their classrooms are properly equipped, it's kind of sad to say, but the foundation is critical in helping us raise additional funds for just those simple things, like making sure there's, I was going to say paper clips, but that would age me because we probably don't use them anymore. But there we go. That's not quite a paper clip, but it's close. Anyway, but they're just instrumental in so many ways, making sure that our employees have what they need to do the job for our students, to make sure our students have the opportunities. So thank you. And Additions Financial is a huge part of making that happen. Why don't you guys come on up and we'll get a photo, and I want to bring up the whole team if we could. That's better.
Good, hold on. Big smile. Stay there, big smile again. One more big cheesy smile. And I'll ask any family, babies?
We need more babies, by the way. We need more babies.
Yes, it's Borrow a Baby Day here in Orange County Public Schools. All right, Dr. Vasquez, let me check with you. Are there any changes to the published agenda?
No, Madam Chair, there are no changes.
All right, seeing there's no changes, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as published? Motion by Vice Chair Byrd. Second by Member Douglas. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes with all members present voting in the affirmative. Dr. Vasquez, do we have any newly appointed administrators?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
All right, thank you. And we're also pleased to welcome students from Winter Park High School who are joining us this evening as members of the Superintendent's Advisory Council. Would you like to introduce them?
I would. Thank you. So this evening we have two incredible students from Winter Park High School, J-Ron Williams and Lena Schmidt. They are both members of my Student Advisory Council, and they will be sharing with us some of the great things they are doing at school to help students feel connected and build relationships.
This one working?
It
thank
works.
you.
I'm asking it to, there we go. All right, that's better.
That is better. Thank you. My name is J-Ron Williams. I'm our current student body president at Winter Park High School.
And I'm Lena Schmidt. I'm our current student body vice president at Winter Park High School, and I'm a senior.
I'm a junior.
Sorry, pardon my voice. I'm losing it a little bit.
It's okay. Every year at Winter Park High School, between the summer, SGA and administration meet together at the freshman campus to discuss what's been going on over the year and how we can improve. And this started 2 years ago, might I add, and it's been a tradition ever since. And those 2 years ago, we had a problem. We had a problem of overall involvement, morale, engagement, and how Wildcats needed to feel at home. As you can see by the statistics, confirmed student engagement was in the low 20%, and SGA statistics as a whole, this is in relation to homecoming, is where we had less than 30% participation at our homecoming parade. That's one of our pride and joys, if you know. 20% of our clubs entered, and only 30% of our sports entered as well.
And so as a result, after our meeting with the administration, we wanted to get right to work. And so we started creating some initiatives that we wanted to bring to the 2024-2025 school year. And those initiatives started with our clubs. And so at Winter Park High School, we have the Interclub Council at the ICC, and we wanted to get them more involved. We wanted to really bring them into our school and make them feel connected. And so one of the ways we did that was have them participate in our homecoming parade, which, like J-Ron said, is one of our pride and joys. And so we incentivized them to come and gain their school requirements by being involved. And this not only encouraged them to be in it to maintain their goal and maintain their requirements, but it also made them feel connected to not only their school, but their community as well. And I got them to show, this is what I'm prideful of, this is what I do at Winter Park High School, and this is what I'm involved in. And this also we could see with our school, with our classes. And we had our classes perform a skit at the parade. And this friendly competition was really fun, in my opinion. Like, I'm a senior, and I wanted to beat J-Ron, who's a junior. And I think that friendly competition really made me feel connected within my class. It made me want to participate in things, and it made me want to show my pride as a Winter Park High School student. And here are some of the SGA statistics from our homecoming. And as you can see on the left, that's our statistics from 2024, and our statistics on the right from 2025. And it kind of just shows our increase in participation in our, not only our homecoming, but also in our parade as well. And that because students felt connected, they wanted to participate in our parade, and they wanted to come to homecoming. And that was really just through getting more people involved.
I just want to preface this: the class skits are rigged every year in seniors.
Okay.
But I digress. Come 2025, we met with Dr. Vasquez, and she wasn't just listening to the problems and the things that the students felt that they needed to improve on, and she felt that Dr. Vasquez could improve on, but SGA as a whole was listening as well. We gathered club presidents there, and they discussed what they wanted to be seen done. And we have to remember that change can only start at the top so much, and it really starts with the student base. We want to connect students with different resources at a deeper level, and using clubs as a vehicle again. And this also relates back to the mental health aspect that we want to focus on as well going into the year. Connectivity day, resource counseling, things that we want to provide for the students here already that we can make a change to make them connect with the school even more.
And so like Jaron said, we want to continue keeping that connection going. And so as we entered this year and we had our meeting with Dr. Vasquez, we wanted to continue those initiatives and kind of keep that connection going. And so we created a few more programs, and one was the Pack Boys at our school. And that's just a group of our most spirited Wildcats. And their job was to come to our games and really connect with kids and make them want to participate and want to see their students play and really cheer them on. And so that was a huge big hit, and they came to our pep rallies, they came to even more sporting events, and they got a lot of kids to want to come to the games and want to participate. And we also focused on working with Dance Marathon, which they hosted a Park Palooza event, which was a huge community event. And that not only connected us with our school and with our peers, but it also connected us with communities and schools from outside of just Winter Park High School. And we got to talk about, oh, this is what Winter Park does. And we got to connect with more than just the people at our school. And then we also had a pie teacher event where students got to actually pie one of their teachers. And that was a huge success because who wouldn't want to pie one of their teachers? I mean, so we actually raised about $600, and we were able to really have people connect with their teachers because they were like, oh, you should come and so I can pie you. And as a result, once again, it just shows in our homecoming statistics how we've just increased with our numbers over the years, and we've really had more people want to participate because they feel connected and because they want to be at our school and because they feel like it is a home and they do belong. And that kind of brings me to the future of Winter Park and how this is going to look in years to come. And since I'm a senior, I'm kind of giving this into the hands of Jaron, but because of everything that I have put forward and my also fellow SGA mates have put forward, we just hope that we can continue this goal and only grow as a school and just continue that connection and that feeling of belonging as we, move forward. And I know our SGA will have no doubt and we'll do that. So thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. We would all love it. Yes. Yeah, if you pied her. If you pied her. Please. We were complaining earlier, we don't get notice of everything happening in our schools. That's right. If that happens at the school, we want to know. Yeah. She doesn't need to know.
Big smile again, hold on. Is that parents' fire? That pie?
That pie. Yes,
No, it's an actual
pie.
pie.
One more, look happy. Thank you. I might make that happen.
All right, before you all head out, Member Vanos, you have some rebuttal here to say, or what? I noticed you wanted to speak.
Hey, if we can bring more people into the event, I'm happy to be pied. But I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing what you're doing at Winter Park High School. And I love that you sort of understand that foundation, that when students feel connected and they feel valued and an important part of the school community, they'll show up and they'll continue to work hard and continue to meet the expectations at your school. And also, I was actually at the student meeting last year with all of the club presidents and was just so impressed with just so many of the different issues that they brought forth and just the candid conversations and the ideas that came out of that meeting. And I also just want to give some kudos to your principal, Dr. Meechin, who I know continues with the student town halls and really engages with students to get their feedback as well, which is so important. So thank you so much for being here. So proud and proud to be your school board member.
I have a couple other board members. Vice Chair Byrd.
Yeah, good job, you guys. Terrific. Every time we get to hear our young students speak, I'm like, I just love it. You guys, our future is in such good hands. I'm so excited by everything you're doing. I wanted to get just a little more detail on, you said you have a summer meeting with your principal. Is it the inter-council, or is it just the SGA?
It's SGA and the entirety of administration, so that goes from principal all the way down to all of the vice principals and some instructional leaders as well.
Okay. That is really
wow,
cool.
right?
Do all the high schools do that, Dr. Vasquez, or is that just something?
We would have to confirm
Find
that.
out.
I do believe that many of them do that.
Okay. That's awesome.
I think the answer is not yet.
Not yet, but they should, because that's just, what a great idea, just to sit there with the students and reflect. Because I know you guys, all schools do that, at the end of the year, probably with staff and everything, but to be able to sit down with student leaders and discuss how they viewed the year went and what they would like to see different next year. I think that's such a cool idea. And thank you for listening to your students in that way. And the interclub council, I think all of most of our high schools have that too, right? That's another great thing. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys, you did a great job. Keep it up.
Member Farrant?
Wonderful, thank you. And thank you both for being here. And Principal, thank you for being here as well. I just wanted to say how incredible it is when, first of all, I always say this to Dr. Vasquez, but all the students that come in and share what's happening in their high schools, it is so fun for us. And then for board members who, you aren't in my district, so I may not know all the happenings, but it's fun to hear and then be able to take that back to my schools and share with them. But it's amazing what happens when students take initiative to improve that school culture. It is one thing for the adults to be pushing in. We might have the same ideas, but the minute you all cool and fun and you guys have that initiative, all of a sudden the classmen start saying, wow, that's a great idea. We should do that. Let's go. So really exciting. It was fun to see the difference between the 2 years and be able to contrast of that. And then just showing that you can't wait around for someone else to make a difference. And the fact that you rose up and you said, hey, this is what we want to see. We want to see a change. What can we do to help be a part of that? And you did it in such an awesome and constructive way. So really proud of you, what you guys have done, and excited to see the continued trend. I'm sure we'll hear more next year on how that's trending forward, but excited to see that. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Member Farrant. Member Gallo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo what everybody's said about what a great job you did. We love having the students come and speak to us. It just reassures us of how fabulous our teachers are and our schools are. For you guys to get up and present in front of all these people and all the cameras in the back, kudos to you, because you guys did a great job, and that's a little nerve-wracking. So just thank you again. And then I did want to give a shout out to your principal, because I heard that he was at Good Morning Winter Park and that he knocked it out of the ballpark. I got several text messages from people at that meeting that thought that you just did a phenomenal job and you really hit the nail on the head. I think one of the slides said, if you want to know where your future workforce are, they're sitting in my third period class at Winter Park High. And I don't know how more eloquently we can say that than that. So I just want to say kudos to you. And I wanted Dr. Vasquez to hear that as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Gallo. Member Douglas.
The talent that we can see in OCPS, it's amazing. These are our future leaders. And I think our really future is assured, because when we see these wonderful kids that already make a difference being in high school, what can they do when they get into the workplace? That's just amazing. I love your presentation. I like the way that you presented the before and after, and the difference that you have made in just 1 year. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. I just want to say thank you to your principal as well for all the work that you do for the kids. And without you, you know, a lot of those things may not happen. So thank you again. And really very proud of you. Thank you so much.
And the baby there,
And the baby too.
Dad just took the paper away, and I think that was very rude because Arthur was trying to clap for that. Well, Member Felder, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Chair. I just want to sort of again reiterate what my fellow board members have said, that we're just so very proud of our students in traditional public schools. I think that people miss out on so much because we really do have so much to offer. Our students are just phenomenal. And again, as I've always said from this dais, it's a poor frog that don't praise his own pond. So I'm telling you, we're so very proud of you all. And every time another school comes up and they share what they're doing, I just want to ask the question, why not public schools? Why aren't you in traditional public schools? And why aren't you in schools at Orange County Public School District? And so we are so grateful that you all seem like you're having a great time being in school. You love your school and you love what you do. And we love that you love what you do. And thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Member Felder. I think everybody said everything, but let's see. I haven't said anything. So I just wanted to take a minute. They all said it, but it's so cool. It's just so cool to see this take fire like this. Dr. Vasquez, it started with Dr. Vasquez, but the real life and spirit of it lives in our youth, and you guys just recognizing how important it is for kids to be engaged. And it's so easy to go through high school and just kind of feel isolated and just bumping along and not really caring about anything and wishing you could get out early or stay home. And it takes the enthusiasm that y'all bring to make kids want to come to school. And that's what it's all about. And it should be fun. I mean, it should be something that you look forward to. And so you're doing it. And so God bless you for that. And Principal Meacham, thank you for being such a collaborator with these kids and, and leading with heart and with purpose. It's very obvious from what we see from your students that you have that wonderful spirit, and our kids are just blessed to have you as their principal. All right, we are going to move on, and this is the opportunity for all of you all who came here to celebrate to leave if you want, or you're welcome to stay with us all evening. It's your call. We're going to take a brief break while everybody exits, and we'll resume our meeting in just a minute.
You're good.
Yes, yes, yeah, but thank you, because they're coming to the thing. Yes, I am. It's not quite as celebratory. But yeah, but thank you, because they're coming up, and now I'm got a little flustered. All right, we'll resume our meeting. Next, I'd like to acknowledge Clinton McCracken, President of the Orange County Classroom Teachers Association, for some comments. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Evening.
Chair Jacobs, board members, and Superintendent Vasquez. As we move through another year of difficult decisions educators keep returning to three simple pillars: respect, invest, support. Teacher pay and benefits are top concerns, but how we treat our educators ranks high as well. These pillars matter most when the district faces difficult financial realities. We recognize the pressures coming from Tallahassee are real, but many of the choices that shape our district are made locally. The number of principal leaders, senior executive directors, senior directors, assistant directors, chief officers, managers, senior administrators, and program specialists, those are decisions made here. At some point, we have to ask where our resources are best invested and whether those investments are strengthening classrooms or pulling resources away from them. Because schools should be the last place to feel the impact of funding challenges. Yet too often, it feels like schools are the first and sometimes the only places where those impacts are felt. The sense of imbalance is also felt in how accountability is applied. It must exist across the system, not just in classrooms. Too often in education, when something goes wrong, the first place we look is the classroom. Low test scores, it's the educators. Reading proficiency drop, it's the educators. But if we truly want improvement, we must also examine the decisions being made across the system and the pressure placed on schools to meet expectations that may not always align with the realities of teaching and learning. We see this play out in small but meaningful ways. When a principal leader visits, schedules may shift to accommodate the moment. Yet if a teacher adjusts a schedule to meet the actual needs of students, that same flexibility may be questioned during an observation. That inconsistency erodes trust. Strong schools require strong classrooms, and strong classrooms require a system built on fairness, trust, and consistency. Before I close, I want to speak directly to our educators. The collective bargaining agreement that you work under today, those protections didn't appear by accident. They exist because we all stood together for years through this union and worked to build a contract that helps guide our work across this district. Those protections matter. And the work you do every day matters even more. So as we head into spring break, I want to wish all of our educators a well-deserved break. Please take the time to rest and recharge. You do not need to work during your break. You've earned that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's correct. You've earned that time, so please, please, please take it. All right, next I would like to acknowledge Ron Pollard, president of the Orange Education Support Professional Association. Is Mr.? Has he left? Okay. All right. Well, I acknowledge him. He's not here and we miss him, but he was here earlier and we always appreciate his important role as well. And last, I'd like to acknowledge Sanjay Brown, middle and K-8 schools principal. And he's representing the Orange County Association of School Administrators, otherwise known as OCASA. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Superintendent, and members of the board. I am Sanjay Brown, the proud principal of Persian School, representing the Orange County Association of School Administrators. I'll take a moment here to recognize my colleague, James Morissetti, who is the principal of Village Park Elementary School. Thank you for coming here in support this afternoon. I stand before you tonight to express our deepest gratitude for your unwavering support of our district's leadership. It is your vision that allows us to cultivate an environment where both our staff and our students can excel. We recently saw this spirit of community in action at the OCASA Golf Scramble last week. This wasn't just a day on the course, it was a powerful gathering of administrators, teachers, and community partners, all united by a single mission. I am incredibly proud to announce that through the collective generosity of our participants, we raised over $20,000 for our graduating seniors. OCASA's cornerstone mission is to provide $1,000 scholarship to a student from the graduating class of every single high school in Orange County. By hitting this fundraiser milestone, we are ensuring that financial barriers do not stand in the way of the bright futures our students have worked so hard to build. This achievement is a testament to what we can accomplish when the district and the community move in lockstep. As we transition into the final quarter of the school year, the home stretch, I want to specifically highlight the incredible work of our school-based administrators. This is the most demanding time of the year. Our principals and assistant principals are currently on the front lines, meticulously preparing students for final assessments and ensuring that the instructional momentum remains high until the final bell rings. Beyond the academics, these leaders are the anchors of our schools. They play a pivotal role in maintaining order, fostering a culture of high achievement, and providing the emotional and structural stability that students need to succeed. They are the architects of the school climate, and their dedication is the reason our district remains a beacon of excellence. In closing, thank you for your continued partnership. Because of your support and the hard work of our administrators, we are not just finishing the year strong, we are launching the next generation of leaders with the resources they need to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, under our celebrations and observations, all 25-26 proclamations were adopted by vote of the board during the August 12th, 2025 board meeting as designated celebrations and observations. The list will remain on the agenda for the entire school year. Porter, you're recognized. Dr. Porter, you're recognized.
Right. Good evening, Chair Jacobs, members of the board. I'm pleased tonight to be joined by Senior Executive Director of Research, Measurement, and Strategy, Dr. Jennifer Sasser, Senior Director Ben Allen, Director of Strategic Improvement, Casey Liberstat, and today we're going to share the results of the School Start Time Survey. Presentation will begin with background information before we share the results and next steps. Ben will take over the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Border. I'll begin with some background on why the district administered this survey. School start times are described in Section 1001.42 of the Florida statutes, which mandate that by July 1st of 2026, middle schools start no earlier than 8 a.m. and high schools no earlier than 8:30 a.m. The statute also mandated that districts must inform stakeholders of the health and safety benefits of the change and specifically calls out groups such as parents, students, teachers, school administrators, and athletic coaches. In 2025, Senate Bill 296 amended this statute to allow for districts to opt out of changing start times if they submit a report by June 1st of 2026. This report must be in a format provided by the Florida Department of Education and document how the community was engaged in the process. The School Start Time Survey project timeline begins with the August 19th presentation by the Operations Division to the board. During that meeting, you requested that district staff gather information from the community. In October, the OCPS Strategic Improvement Department established a cross-divisional team that included members from divisions across OCPS, including strategy, communications, learning, and operations. This team worked to ensure that the School Start Time Survey collected the necessary information and reached as many stakeholders as possible. Dr. Vasquez also began incorporating this topic into superintendent town halls. The team fielded the survey from November 11th through November 21st. Data analysis and reporting took place in December, and the data was initially shared with the board in the board planning session on January 20th. That brings us to today, where we are sharing the data in this public board session. I'll now turn the presentation to Casey Liberstat to discuss the outcomes of the School Start Time Survey.
As mentioned previously, the School Start Time Survey was administered in November 2025. We received responses from over 71,000 participants, 12% of whom were OCPS staff, 14% students in grades 6 through 12, and 74% family and community members. Staff received their survey link through email. Students used a link posted on their lunch pad, while family and community members accessed an anonymous link. The survey was available in English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and Arabic. The state identified specific groups in the statute, including parents, students, teachers, school administrators, and athletic coaches. The number of participants in each of these groups is displayed here. Survey participants self-identified which roles applied to them and were able to select more than one option to best reflect their part in the OCPS community. Each survey began with an introduction linking participants to a document that shared an example of a possible schedule and information on the scientific research discussing the importance of adequate sleep for middle and high school students. The current schedule example shared had high schools starting first at 7:20 a.m., elementary schools starting second at 8:45, and middle schools starting at 9:30 a.m. The possible adjusted schedule shared had elementary schools starting at 7:45 a.m., high school starting at 8:40, and middle schools starting at 9:35 a.m. 4 research sources were shared, including those from the American Academy of Pediatrics, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Cambridge University, and the Journal of the American Medical Association. All participants, regardless of the stakeholder group, were asked the question, do you support the proposed changes to school start times? Overall, 60% of participants oppose changing school start times, 34% support the change, and 7% were neutral. Let's break down those numbers by survey type. You can see that the numbers for each group are similar. When asked if they support the proposed change to school start times, 59% of our family and community members oppose the change, 35% support the change, and 6% are neutral. Of our staff members who participated in the survey, 56 oppose the change, 35% support the change, and 9% are neutral. Our students shared a similar view, with 66% opposing the change, 24% supporting the change, and 10% neutral. Participants who noted their opposition to the change in school start times were given a list of possible concerns to select if they applied. Participants were able to select all that applied to them. The top-ranking overall concern was the disruption of family routines, with the disruption of work schedules coming in second. Negative impact on student activities and safety concerns were also rated as common concerns. Participants who expressed support for the change in school start times were given a list of possible benefits to select from, which helped explain their reasoning for supporting the change. Participants were able to select all that applied to them. Health benefits for students were listed as the highest reason for participant support, with academic benefits for students coming in second and safety benefits for students coming in third. I'm going to turn the presentation back to Ben to talk about next steps related to this topic.
One of the major topics that the report asks is about community engagement. We discussed this briefly in the earlier timeline, and here's a more detailed description of the community outreach and conversations. Our conversations on this topic began in August 2025 with an OCPS school board work session. We also discussed this topic at a planning session in January and now at tonight's event. Dr. Vasquez incorporated this topic into superintendent town halls earlier this year. Families received information about the start time survey through Parent Square, and staff also received information about the survey through that platform. Schools were encouraged to directly reach out to parents and provided language for messaging and graphics, for email and social media posts, as well as flyers to post at school sites. Students in middle school and high school were able to access their surveys directly through Launchpad, and schools were provided language and graphics for student reminders, as well as a slide and script that could be shared during morning announcements. The cross-divisional project team worked to send out reminders to specific groups throughout district contacts, which included athletic coaches, music, theater, and art teachers, and community members who engage with the district. This topic also garnered media attention and was publicized in various print, television, and radio stories. On February 20th, 2026, the State Board of Education approved the report format that districts must submit to not implement the new start time requirements. The district can submit a single report that will include all non-charter schools. Charter schools may also choose to submit their own reports. As shared in the Florida Department of Education's weekly memo on February 20th, the report must include, at a minimum, the start times of elementary, middle, and high schools in the district, documentation of strategies considered to implement a later start time for middle schools and high schools within the district, including the number of board meetings, public hearings, and opportunities for parental input, a description of the impact of implementing school start times, and identified unintended consequences to the district, students, and the community by implementing the start time requirements under the statute. Districts must submit this report to the Florida Department of Education by June 1st, 2026, to be considered in compliance with Section 1001.42. The board has before it tonight a resolution declaring its intent to related to school start times. If the decision is made to keep start times the same, OCPS will submit the required report to the Florida Department of Education by April 30th of 2026, well before the statutory deadline. And we'll turn the presentation back to Dr. Vasquez for any comments or discussion.
Thank you, Ben and Casey, for a terrific job, as well as the rest of the team in taking on this endeavor. Board members, as you can see, the majority of the stakeholders do agree with keeping start times as is. We are now prepared to take any questions or comments from the board related to changes in start time.
Thank you, Dr. Vasquez. Let me begin with Member Vanos.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. First of all, thank you so much for the work that your team did in sending out the survey. I know you asked for our input on the survey and tabulating and preparing this report. I see that, I believe you said that charter schools may also submit their own reports. So does the law not require charter schools to comply? They're not required to comply with all of this work?
If they wanted to take advantage of the report to opt out of that start time requirement, they would need to submit their own report, and they can't be submitted on the district's report. So they would have to go through that process on their own.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. I also just wanted to say I have been an outspoken supporter of later start times for high school students. I personally think it is unfortunate that sort of the inconvenience and not wanting to change schedules sort of won out over the health and academic benefits to our students. But I do respect the survey process. I am so thankful that so many people responded to the survey and shared their opinion so that we can make a decision that reflects our community's desires and needs. And I would just use this as encouragement to pay attention to the surveys that come into your parent square and to please participate, because what you say matters, and we take that into account when we make decisions. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Vanos. Member Ferrant.
I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate all the different methods and the ways that you reached out to the community to make sure we got everybody's input and their thoughts on it. I think everybody, you can see it from the survey. It is pretty clear what people are wanting, but there is that group that would like to see some change. But ultimately, it's I think the way we are able to present it with the survey is really great. I think it gives parents that option. Not only parents, but students, teachers, everyone was viewed on that. And it's a difficult thing because it's not just changing one group or one, like if we could just change the high schools or just the middle schools. I feel like they end so late. Like there's certain things, as I was talking with the team, there's just so many moving parts and finding the buses and how would we revamp all that. And I'm sure we could figure that out if we really were stuck with it. But it really is bigger. It's a bigger problem to solve than just one simple thing. So I appreciate all your hard work behind the scenes to get this information to us and for submitting this to the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ferrant. Member Gallo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'll echo the thank you for all the work that that your team did, Dr. Border and all of you all, to give us this information, do the survey. The last time we talked about school start times, I think the board was unanimous in our consensus that we know that starting later is good for our kids. The research is very clear that high school starting later is beneficial. If it was a perfect world where cost wasn't an issue, busing wasn't an issue, and we didn't have to run 3, maybe 4 routes to get to schools, I could see us making that change, but that's just not where Orange County is right now. So I'm not surprised by these results. We saw them when we did the exact same survey back in 2000. I think it was 19. Wasn't it 18 or 19? 19. The community overwhelmingly just did not want us to change start times, and so I'm happy. I said that I would abide by what the community wants. It's clear the community doesn't want us to change start times. So. Thank you for the information. And when we're sharing this, by law, we have to share this with the Department of Education, correct? When do we have to send it up to them, or have we already?
So the report is due June 1st to the department, and after the board's decision tonight, we'll have our direction to be able to complete that report and submit it before the June 1st deadline.
Okay, so if the board decides tonight not to change start times, then we just have to submit the report and nothing more is required from Orange County?
Correct.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Well, I will be supporting it tonight. I believe it's important we listen to our community, and I'll be supporting not changing start times. Thank you.
Member Douglas.
When I was a teacher, I'm still a teacher at heart. Okay, always a teacher is a teacher. Okay, I had that discussion with my student in high school, and they were adamant that they did not want a start time to change, and that is kind of a reflection of what I have experienced in the classroom. I know it's we're talking about sleeping pattern of the kids, but I think as parents we need to also be mindful that we are in control of our kids, and we have to make sure that they go to bed on time, and they don't stay up and play games until 2 o'clock in the morning. We have to check on them. We cannot all put on the schools. We have to make sure that our children are doing the right thing. So thank you so much for your survey and what you've done. You always do a great job, and I thank you so much. And Dr. Border, your team, just wonderful. Thank you so much for the survey. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you. And to the whole team, thank you as well. And so we will move on to the rest of the agenda. We're not taking a vote at this time. No, that's fine. All right, thank you. No.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ben. All right. We have a whole process by which we solicit public input on matters that are coming before the board, especially public hearings. One of those is to email board members and to email our Office of School Board by, I think it is noon yesterday, so that we have access to comments that maybe people that aren't able to attend or don't choose to attend. Those are become part of the public record. We have an electronic sign-in system here in the building, and we also have an opportunity to sign in and register ahead of time. Today, I wanted to check with Mr. Palmerini regarding any public comments that we have before we begin.
Yes, Madam Chair, you have 5 speakers signed up. 2 of the speakers have indicated that they want to speak to more than one of the school closures. I remind you of your policy BEDH, which says no speaker shall have more than 3 minutes per meeting to address the board during any agenda public comment period. So normally we don't allow them to have, we allow them to have 3 minutes total, but it is up to you all if you would allow them, if you want to allow them to speak twice or not. But this is, the rule is typically is they get 3 minutes total.
Understood, thank you. And how many speakers do we have in total?
5.
Okay, so,
Because this is a public hearing.
Yeah.
Public hearings differently. I think we should allow them to speak on every item.
all right. Any dissent on allowing the 2 members that want to speak on more than one school? All right, so let us begin with our first hearing, hold on, I think I skipped over one. On 3.01. Pardon me? Yeah, let me announce the hearing and then we'll take comments from the speakers as they, do the other speakers indicate what school they want to speak on?
So that's the issue. There's the first three of our speakers don't indicate which school they want to speak to.
Okay.
And then I have one that has indicated 3 school consolidations. Then one speaker has actually indicated the 2 schools he would like to speak to.
Okay, so for individuals who haven't indicated which school they want to speak to, let me do this. Show of hands, who are the 5 people that wish to speak? Okay. Do you have specific schools that you want, specific school you want to speak on? Okay, we have at least 2 speakers that don't have specific schools. So why don't we hear from you first? And then we'll have your input throughout this process. And then on the others, we'll hear from them before we take up each of the individual schools. All right, so the 2, do you happen to know?
The 3 speakers.
Okay.
So the first one is Stefana Farrell.
Welcome, Ms. Farrell.
Hi, Board. Stefana Farrell, 34787. As you all know, I am not a parent of a student impacted in one of these schools. However, I am an OCPS parent, and I have friends that work in these schools, and I have, my husband actually went to one of these schools as well when he was a child. So I wanted to come up and say, you know, I appreciated hearing all of the efforts to involve the community and get the community out. I would love it if we had more communication to our parents so that they are aware when they make an individual decision to remove their child from the school, while that money might follow their child to their next choice. There is money that is lost that does not, would otherwise fund the school itself. When one child decides to leave an entire school, there really isn't a change to the number of teachers that are needed, the utility costs, all of those costs. They don't change when one student decides to leave the school, and we lose that funding. And so we know that Orange County largely votes to tax themselves a little bit more to better support our public schools, that they show up and they vote for people that advocate in Tallahassee for our public schools. What we need now is parents to understand just how important and pivotal it is. Birth rates are declining. Parents are leaving Orange County because it's too expensive to live here. We have families that are leaving the state because it's scary to live here. There are a lot of decisions that are influencing why families decide to leave. And more than ever, we need parents out in the community talking to their friends about why it's so important that we stay connected to our public schools. So I wanted to take that time. I appreciated if you haven't watched that portion of the meeting to see the different events that our communities, schools are putting on. Participate, show up, speak out in support of our public schools, and advocate in Tallahassee, because ultimately it's funding decisions that impact why our schools are closing, and we're in a tough spot, and more schools will have to close if we don't do more as a community to show up and support. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Farrell. All right, next speaker.
The next speaker is Cynthia Harris.
Welcome, Ms. Harris.
Hi, how are you? Cynthia Harris, 12 Channing Avenue, Orlando. And I am a proud member, a product of Orange County Public Schools. I'm here today because I'm deeply disappointed about the proposal to close our schools. My commitment to this district is not just words. I have served as an addition school volunteer for 35 years, which has shown me firsthand how much we are truly vested in the success of public education. I have listened carefully to your views on how low enrollment, but to be honest, the new math is just not mathing. We are talking about Eccleston and Washington Shores. If Eccleston maintains higher enrollment levels, why are we taking students away from a school rich in history just to fill the gaps of a lower enrollment site? We are disrupting established cultures and routines just for a spreadsheet. When I was a student, we had what was called the Wheel. It was a system that afforded every student a chance to learn real vocational skills like home economics and wood shop. These programs gave students a reason to be excited about coming to school and a path towards a career. If you want to increase enrollment, don't close the doors of our schools. Bring back vocational education. Give families a reason to choose their neighborhood public schools over a private school voucher program. We can no longer afford to let our kids fall through the cracks. History has shown us that our schools, especially in underserved communities, already receive the lowest levels of funding. Now we're told there's a $41 million gap and the solution is to shut us down. I know you're frustrated and your hands are tied, but our community needs you to be our champions. We need you to be creative. Instead of converting these sites into healthcare facilities, use them for our children. Don't just manage a decline, lead a resurgence. Reinvest in trades, honor the history of our schools like Eccleston, and show our students that they are worth more than a consolidation plan. Let's be creative, let's be bold, and let's save our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. All right, next speaker.
Next speaker is Frank Vassell.
My name is Frank Vassell. I live at 1438 Rainy Avenue, Orlando, Florida, 32825. Chair Jacobs, members, neighbors. You have an email from me regarding public schools. I'm a public school. I'm a product of a public school. Our children went to Union Park Middle School. And the email you got from me will tell you how to save public schools. But we are at this point now where there is no saving. It's too late to save the public schools. So I'm here to urge you, members, look at Longwood Elementary School, which closed in 2006. About 5 years later, they had to reopen the school. They had to renovate the school to reopen it. So bear that in mind. The schools you're closing may have to reopen. There's a Pew Research 2013 regarding shuttering schools. There are memorabilia in our schools. Please make sure those memorabilia are saved. We have portraits of principals in Union Park Middle School lining the wall. Find a place to put those portraits if that school is going to be divested or sold or whatever comes to that school. There are books and periodicals in our media centers. Make sure those are preserved. We already know what you do with furniture. It ends up at John Young Parkway. We already know you'll be keeping the furniture. Charters may be our only hope for the buildings that are going to be left vacant. The properties that are going to be left vacant, the charter schools are probably going to take them. From the research that Pew did, the charter schools took about 42%, and this is a 2013 report. 42% charter schools took properties across the nation. So see to that charter schools get the buildings, at least to preserve them. You're going to be left with a huge task, members, to sell those schools, get help, get the local real estate people around who have the skill of selling. You're not in the business of selling schools, but you're going to have to do something with them. Otherwise, they're going to sit idle. The weeds are going to grow because if you don't maintain those schools while they sit idle, the equipment is going to go down. The pests are going to move in. The insects are going to move in, spiders, you name it. okay? And vandalism is going to be one of the other issues with those schools. They're going to steal the copper, they're going to steal the steel, the aluminum, and you're going to be faced with another problem in the neighborhoods. So members, I beg you to consider those things as you go forward with the schools that you can't save at this moment. But my email members, I sent all of you the email, 13 points to save our schools going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your next speaker is Colson Fry.
I normally announce in advance, come on forward, that one of our rules in the chambers during our public meetings is no audible acknowledgments either in support or opposition, primarily because the opposition can be rather rude. But I didn't say that at the outset. So let me say this. If you have opposition to something somebody is saying, just give us a thumbs down. If you have support, give us a thumbs up, and we'll be paying attention. All right. Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening, Chair, Superintendent, members of the board. My name is Colson Fry, zip code 32792, and I'm an organizer with Sea Alliance. Today on the agenda is a vote to close and consolidate 7 schools in our county. It is important to emphasize that this is not just a financial decision, but one that will affect the lives of families and communities surrounding these schools. Schools are community anchors. They are gathering places for families, spaces where neighbors connect, and institutions that help shape neighborhood identity. When students are transferred, they face challenges adapting to new environments, teachers, and peer groups, changes that can impact academic success and social stability. Changes to transportation routines can also affect attendance and engagement. Closing a school affects far more than just enrollment numbers. Even if the consolidation decision moves forward today, community engagement must continue through the transition. Families should have a voice in how these changes are implemented, and communities deserve transparency about what will happen to these public school properties. For those affected, these closures are not happening in a vacuum, but they're happening all over Florida. Ongoing issues such as school voucher programs that lack financial accountability and drain funding from public schools, schools of hope that expand privately run charter schools using taxpayer money, and declining enrollment linked to the terror in our community about ICE all contribute to the pressures facing our public schools. I encourage the board to hold community transition meetings to discuss timelines and answer questions, host listening sessions with impacted students and families, and provide transparency about futures of these public school sites, and give regular public updates. I also encourage community members to continue showing up to these school board meetings, to continue staying informed about issues, and to continue making your voices heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So your last speaker is Stephen Holtzman. He has identified item 3.01 and item 3.05.
Okay. So we are about to take up 3.01. You want to speak to both of them? What? You want to go in order? Yeah, come on up, and we'll take up 3.01, and then we'll have you back up for 3.05. Thank you.
Yeah, this is good evening. Stephen Holtzman. Tonight I am a representative of the group Orlando YIMBY, standing for Yes in My Backyard. We are a housing advocacy group. I've followed this process. My old training as a demographer is kind of kicking in. But tonight I'm kind of, mourning a little bit. And, publicly we, share our thoughts about what these schools mean to us. And with, I went to Howard Middle School, the old Orlando High School that had a lot of history. I know there were lots of projects to keep that around. When I was in middle school, there was a museum club run by the art teacher, Clinton McCracken. And we did a local museum project on all the folks that went to our school. And one of them was John Young, where I guess that parkway where all that furniture is going to end up. Mm-hmm. But, it's kind of cool. You're getting your head around the world or the moon. And you see, an astronaut went through these halls, and maybe that's going to be me. And I know other students do that too. I'm not an astronaut yet, but and that school has a lot of history with William R. Boone. That was we couldn't go more than a couple weeks without hearing the ghost stories every knock and on the window or whatever. Oh, that's the ghost of Boone coming back to haunt us for not doing our homework. With Bonneville Elementary School, the famous alum that have gone there, there's, State Rep Dr. Anna Escamani walked through those halls and went on to do great things, and I think she'll continue walking on to do even more great things. And I think of all the folks, and especially the young girls that were walking through that elementary school who maybe heard that story or maybe heard Dr. Escamani go and speak. And maybe that was the decision where they said, maybe I could go, make it to the Florida legislature. I don't know why you would want to do that. But they would have the courage because we need strong folks to go and do that. And so, I guess maybe a moment of silence. I don't know if that's a little hokey, but I'll wait out my time for Bonneville Elementary. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And thank you for the 30 seconds of silence. Do we have other speakers at this time?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Holtzman will come back up for 3.0.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to call on the superintendent in just a minute. I think that your comment that you're in mourning, I think, believe it or not, is something I can relate to. And I'm pretty sure most of the board members can as well. This is not a happy day. This is very disappointing and a very sad point in time. But a lot of what we are dealing with the declining enrollment is, as somebody mentioned, and maybe it was you, is declining birth rates. And the shift in housing. We're seeing certain areas where, yes, some students are going to a charter school or a private school, but a lot of it is just a decline in the number of school-age children in those communities. And that's a demographic shift. And yet in other areas, we are still bursting at the seams. So the declining enrollment is not something that we have much influence over, because of the factors I just mentioned. But the funding is a very real problem. I know we've explained it and covered it. I think there was a comment that our lower socioeconomic schools are receiving less money, and that's not true. The funding for each school is tied directly to the students. The funding comes from the state. It's allocated per student. If a school has lower enrollment, then they are going to have less funding. But it is not a matter of funding being divvied up based on economics or race or ethnicity. I am happy to say those days are behind us in terms of the funding formula that the state uses. So with that, there might be other things in terms of community input, and I do want to make sure that it is clear that superintendent has held meetings. Our staff has been at meetings at every one of the schools. Our school board members have been at meetings at each of the schools. That doesn't help from the standpoint of it's still bad news, and it doesn't change. But there has been an effort to get out and tell that story. So, and some have complained that effort should have been made earlier, and I think we've tried to explain that legislation changed just this past year that makes it extremely precarious for us to try to continue to operate schools that aren't financially viable. So with that, Dr. Vasquez, I'll recognize you for them.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here. This is certainly one of the most difficult days in my superintendency. Never would I have thought that we would be closing schools in a district that values public education, that has the support of our community. And so it has been an incredibly difficult process for us. This evening, we will take each one of the schools individually. We'll have the presentation. We will have an opportunity for the board to have discussion, and then we will take individual votes. I do want to assure everyone that regardless of what the outcome is for each of the schools, we will be sending communication out to staff and to families, informing them of next steps. If the vote is to consolidate, if the vote is to keep the school open, we will also communicate that. I do want to add one point. The reason we came to this difficult decision is because we wanted to continue to have schools where all of our children have access to the supports and the resources, so that we didn't have the haves and the have-nots. And so ironically, that is why we chose to bring this proposal, the proposal for the 7 closures before the board. I wish I could sit here and tell you that this will be the end. Sadly, it is not the end. We continue to see declining enrollment. We are looking at projections of 5,000 more students that we are losing. And so it is our intent to listen to the concerns that you've stated, and we will be going out much sooner to those schools and informing them of their numbers, reviewing their trends before the end of this school year. That way there is time in the summer to be able to see if families can be recruited back, and then we'll have more conversations in the fall. But the numbers that you will see for the schools that we are bringing forward are huge numbers of students that are no longer there for the various reasons that were stated up here by the board. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Stacy Neal. She will begin the presentation. I'm sorry, Mr. Greg Moody, Executive Leader for School Choice, and then he will introduce the team.
All right, before we begin, Member Felder, do you want to speak now?
I guess probably we should wait. I probably should wait till Ms. Neal makes her presentation, but I wanted those persons that were here, and I know many of them that are here, they're in support of Eccleston not closing, that they need to understand we take a vote as a board, but there's also, is there not going to be an opportunity for them as community members to vote on the closing? No? Yeah. So this is it? Yeah. This is the final? Okay. All right, I just wanted to be clear.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Mr. Moody, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent. I introduce Stacy Neal, Senior Director of Student Enrollment, will walk us through the first in all rezonings here today. 3.01 Bonneville.
Good evening. Before we start, let me introduce my staff. With me are Thomas Moore, our demographer, Renata Paropche, Senior Administrator at Student Enrollment, and Dr. Andy Westerman, Senior Administrator, and Amy McCormick. And I am Stacy Neal. Okay. We are presenting 7 school consolidations that would redistribute students to 17 additional schools. Together, these recommendations address under-enrollment across 24 schools. Before presenting each advertised option individually, we will begin with a review of the rezoning timeline. Community meetings were held on January 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd. School board work session was held on January 27th. A rule development workshop was held on February 3rd. And today we are conducting the school board public hearing. We will start with, We will start with Bonneville Elementary Schools consolidation. Let's start by reviewing the map to orient you with the current and proposed zones. Red lines indicate current elementary school boundaries, and the schools involved in the rezoning are Bonneville Elementary, East Lake Elementary, and Columbia Elementary. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Purple is East Lake, green is Columbia. The next slide displays the demographic breakdown for each school, both before and after the rezoning. The first column shows the name of the school involved in the rezoning with the school's Florida Inventory of Schoolhouses capacity, also known as FISH. FISH capacity refers to the official number of students a school is designated to accommodate as determined by the state. This figure is maintained by district staff in the Florida Inventory of Schoolhouses, a comprehensive database, and includes every room in all district-owned schools. The next column displays student enrollment from October 15, 2025, with a percentage breakdown for race as white, black, and other, and ethnicity as non-Hispanic and Hispanic. The third column shows the difference between enrollment and capacity. The fourth column displays the current number of students residing in each zone. The next column shows how many students will be residing in each zone if this rezoning takes place. It also includes a percentage of race and ethnicity, and the numbers below show a range for the projected enrollment for the 2026-27 school year. The next column is FARMS, which stands for free and reduced meals, and shows the percentage at each of the schools before and after the rezoning. The next column shows ESE, which stands for Exceptional Student Education, percentage at each of the schools before and after the rezoning. The last column shows English Language Learners, ELL, the percentage current and proposed. I will give you a moment to review the numbers for each school. Community response summary for Bonneville's consolidation. We received a petition with 116 families and one additional survey opposing this rezoning after the rural development workshop. If approved, this rezoning will commence in August 2026, and this concludes our presentation for Bonneville Elementary Schools consolidation. Dr. Vasquez.
Member Gallo, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank student enrollment and everybody that had a part in this process. This was not easy for any of us. I went to my two schools when it was discussed at the school level. Student enrollment went to all 7 schools. And it was hard to, it's hard to close schools. It's hard to look at a community family, a staff family, and know that you're going to be breaking them up. It's hard to look at students and know that they could be separated from their friends or that they're going to be attending another school next year. It's hard to look at a school like Bonneville and that's been around for decades and know that it's going to no longer be. Like, there's just no easy way to put it other than it's gut-wrenching. And if there was anything that we could do differently than closing these schools, if there was any way to keep these schools open and still be able to maintain the high quality of education that we give our students, we would have found it. We would have been creative. We would have thought outside the box. We've been thinking outside the box for a long time, and we would have done it. The issue is just the students aren't there. They're not projected to be there in the next 10 years. And there was absolutely no way with marketing or anything else that we could have filled these schools up to the capacity needed for them just to break even, just so that they paid for themselves and we weren't adding to it. It wasn't going to happen. So I just want to say, I know that this is difficult and it's awful. And we don't make this decision lightly. We're not, this is a domino effect. So it's not just the students at Bonneville that are going to be affected by this closure. We're also affecting the students at Eastlake Elementary, the students at Columbia Elementary. This is a domino effect because when we push them, we have to push them this way. And Eastlake's going to lose students. And Columbia is going to pick up other students, and other students that are going to Eastlake will now be going to Columbia because they're closer. So it really has been a domino effect that's been really hard. But I do commend the student enrollment because I've gone to them several times about Eastlake going, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we move the boundary? Can they do this? And each and every time they've listened to my concerns about my community. They listen to the wants of Eastlake and Bonneville and Columbia. And for that, I appreciate it because while this is a horrible situation, it would have been even worse without student enrollment and y'all doing the great job that you did. So thank you for that. And being so kind when at the community meetings because they were angry. I mean, they had a right to be angry. They were angry, and it's hard to deal with people when they're angry and they're hurt. I mean, there's just a lot of emotions at play. So thank you. I do have a question just to refresh my mind. Number one is I know that we've paused some of our schools on open enrollment, and I'm assuming probably until this vote tonight. And once this vote happens, we will open up the open enrollment for those schools. So like Eastlake will still be open enrolled. So if students wish to stay there and not go to Columbia, they don't have to do like a psychological transfer. They can just do an under capacity transfer. Is that correct?
So students being rezoned from Eastlake to Columbia can actually grandfather to remain
in any grade.
Any grade as long as they're currently attending Eastlake Elementary. Rising or incoming kindergartners may have to apply for the controlled open enrollment transfer. But anyone currently attending K through 5 K through 4 can grandfather to remain at Eastlake.
Wonderful. And after this vote takes place, the controlled open enrollment will open up, and so those families that may have a kindergarten come in so the siblings could be together.
Yes.
Great. And then in reference to Wedgefield, the students in Wedgefield with unique abilities, this may be a Wendy Ivory question. Where, if they live in Wedgefield, would they be zoned to Columbia or would they be zoned to Eastlake? Do you know, like the students that are say would go to an ASD unit or a contained unit?
I'm looking to see if Miss Ivory is in the back. No. No.
Board Member Gallo, are you referencing the ESE students?
Yeah, so Wedgefield doesn't have an ASD unit, so I was just curious, the students that live in Wedgefield and are zoned for Wedgefield, where would they go to school? Would they go to Columbia or would they come over and go to Eastlake?
Yeah, it's where again, if they are in a self-contained unit, they would go to where the unit has been moved. And I apologize, Miss Ivory is not here, but she will be back in just a minute.
Okay. I'll ask my next question then while we're waiting on that. Actually, it's another Wendy Ivory question, so I can't. No. If anybody else has any questions, I can pause and come back to me when Mrs. Ivory enters the room.
Nobody. You're the only one talking.
You'll talk. Those were my questions were regarding the Wedgefield students, and then I just wanted to be reminded of which ASD units were going to stay at Eastlake. I know that we were talking about their VBK. I'm just wondering the status of that to refresh my memory and to refresh the community's memory of the status of those units, because I think we've gotten everything else squared away. I'm happy to hear that the controlled open enrollment will open back up, because I know I've received questions about that as well. And if I could sing and dance for y'all to make this moment a little lighter, I would.
Do you, if you think it's going to take a couple of minutes, we can table this for a decision? Okay.
Hi. Sorry about that. So I was just asking if students are in Wedgefield, they live in Wedgefield, and they needed to go to an ASD unit, would they go to the one at Columbia, or would they go to the one at Eastlake? Not the Bonneville students, the students that are in Wedgefield.
So
If they're placed in an ASD unit, where would they go?
They go to the closest one to the school.
Okay, so they would go to Columbia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then can you just remind me of which units are staying at Eastlake, and about, I think they're keeping their VBK class at Eastlake?
So right now, we're moving 1 full-day pre-K, 1 half-day pre-K, and 3 of the ASD K through 5 units.
Okay.
So they're not keeping the 1 pre-K. That's going to Riverdale, I believe. Yes, Riverdale, from Bonneville. But your question was East?
Wedgefield.
Oh, Wedgefield.
And you
Oh, said
answered that.
Eastlake.
You said it would go to Columbia, because it would go to the closest school.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so how many units will Eastlake have now?
Eastlake will have 4.
4. What? One
They'll have
high?
They'll have the 3 ASD K through 5, and then they're retaining their 1 IND K through 5.
So they don't have the VE VBK anymore.
No.
That's going to Riverdale.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were keeping that. I'm looking at my people and they look confused too. Where's it going? Columbia?
Columbia and, yes, some go to Columbia, some go to Riverdale. It depends on where they live, yes.
Okay. And, that makes sense, because I know that we had discussed, and I had mentioned that some students in certain areas, it made way more sense to go to Columbia than to go all the way to Riverdale, and you made
Right.
that happen. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we have no other comments from board members, no other comments from the public, so the floor is open for a motion regarding 3.02, which is a request approval for the consolidation of Union Park Middle School and the
3.01.
recommended. I'm sorry?
3.01.
I'm sorry.
3.01.
3.01. Thank you, Mr. Palmerini. And
I'll make the motion.
you'll make a motion? Thank you.
With a very, very heavy heart, I move that we close Bonneville Elementary.
Thank you.
And rezone the students to Eastlake Elementary.
Do we have a second?
I just want to make sure that the motion's in the proper frame. So it's approval of the consolidation of Bonneville Elementary and the recommended attendance zone for Columbia Elementary School and Eastlake Elementary School to commence. I think you only said Columbia, so I just want to make sure it's Columbia and Eastlake.
Yes. What John just said, that's what I move.
Is there a second? Second by Member Vanos. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. 3.02. Dr. Vasquez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will now move to Union Park Middle School.
On this map, the green lines indicate current middle school boundaries. The schools involved in this rezoning are Union Park Middle School, Glen Ridge Middle School, Legacy Middle School, Discovery Middle School, Roberto Clemente Middle School, and Odyssey Middle School. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Pink or salmon color is Glen Ridge, yellow is Legacy Middle School, green is Discovery, purple is Roberto Clemente, and orange is Odyssey. The next slide displays the demographic breakdown for each school both before and after the rezoning. I will give you a moment to review the numbers for each school. Summary of the community response. There is one family supporting and 2 families opposing this rezoning after the rural development workshop. And if approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026. This concludes our presentation for Union Park Middle School's consolidation. Dr. Vasquez.
Any comments from board members? All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is another one of my schools. None of them are easy. Bonneville, it was around for decades, and it's heartbreaking. Union Park is as well, because it's a great school with a lot of history and so much potential. And we've tried so hard to engage parents in that community to go to Union Park, and we've been doing it since before I was on the board, and we just haven't been successful. We've tried magnets, we tried different programs, we've done everything that we could think of to enroll more students into Union Park, and yet consistently year after year they choose to go to a nearby charter. Now there's another charter that opened up down the street, or we have another magnet school that is a K-8 magnet school that they choose to go to, or they choose to go to one of our open enrolled, because Legacy is under enrolled and so is Discovery. So for that reason, our projections for Union Park just remain critically low, and it's a huge facility that in order for us to even break even, we're not even coming anywhere near close to the numbers. The numbers at Union Park are below most elementary schools. And so that's just the situation we're in. So again, it's heartbreaking, but I will make the motion with a heavy heart to close Union Park Middle School and rezone the students to Discovery, Glenridge, Legacy, Odyssey, and Robert Clemente Middle School. And I'm so very sorry that we had to do this.
Thank you, Member Gallo. I appreciate that. I appreciate the difficulty of this. Is there a second? Second by Member Farrant. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, we are moving on to 3.03.
Chickasaw Elementary Schools consolidation. In this map, red lines indicate current elementary school boundaries, and the schools involved in this rezoning are Chickasaw, Englewood, and Deerwood. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Purple is Deerwood Elementary School, and green is Englewood Elementary School. The next slide displays the demographic breakdown for each of these schools, both before and after the rezoning. I will give you a moment to review the numbers for each school. Summary of community response. There were 0 families supporting, 1 family opposing this rezoning after the rural development workshop. If approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026. This concludes our presentation for Chickasaw Elementary Schools consolidation. Dr. Vasquez.
All right, thank you. All right, this is in Member Salamanca's district. I want to apologize to anybody who is here on behalf of Chickasaw. Member Salamanca had really no choice. She just had first baby, so she is not here with us this evening. I know she would have been. So there are no comments from board members. I will open the floor for a motion on 3.03. And in the absence of a motion, I know it's unusual, but I will move approval of 3.03, which is the request for consolidation of Chickasaw Elementary School and the recommended attendance zones for Deerwood Elementary School and Inglewood Elementary School to commence school year 26-27. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Byrd. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. 3.04.
Our next rezoning is Eccleston Elementary Schools consolidation. In this map, the red line indicate current elementary school boundaries. Schools involved in this rezoning are Eccleston Elementary and Washington Shores Elementary. The purple area is the new proposed zone for Washington Shores Elementary. Here is a demographic overview for each of the schools. Please review the numbers. Summary of community response. We received a petition with 116 families opposing this rezoning after the rural development workshop. If approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026. And this concludes our presentation for Eccleston Elementary School. Dr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. Member Felder.
First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Neal and her group, her colleagues. We have been going, I don't know, I think I must have had 4 or 5 meetings with her, doing what I could do, and with Dr. Vasquez, trying to not close Eccleston. If you ever go in my office, you'll see a picture of me the first day of school, first grade at Eccleston. That's my school. So in addition to the people looking at Anna Escamani, they would have had a board member that have walked through those hallways of Eccleston. When Dr. Vasquez explained to me what would happen if I continued to fight to keep Eccleston open, that they would be without maybe an AP, they wouldn't have a media specialist, and there are some children at Eccleston with varying abilities. They may not be able to have the help that they need to continue success in learning. And I wouldn't know how to share with members of my constituency that the children at a school at Panther Lake, say, or Zellwood, getting these kinds of services, and the children at Eccleston are not getting those services. I wouldn't be able to explain why that is happening, other than the fact that we don't have the money to do that. We couldn't afford to do that. It would appear and seem unfair. And for a minute, I thought it was a black thing, but I realized it's not. It's across the district. The east, the west, it's across the district. And what I found out later on when I talked with Ms. Neal, she showed me this shaded area, kind of graded area, about, I think it was 400, about 300 kids, was it? About 300 or 400 students who are in Eccleston's district, in their zone. They're not going to Eccleston. They're being homeschooled, or they're going to a charter school way across somewhere. They're not even going to the school. 300 kids in that area. And I was just, what? And I can't go house to house. That's something if a principal wants to do that. That's what the principal did at Orange Center. She went and got her children. She went house to house and got them. And so I'm like, how can we work this? And I have friends in Richmond Heights who are my age. We are great grandmamas now and grandmamas. Anybody having no babies? Not my age. That's a miracle, baby, if that's going to happen. And so I'm just so frustrated because it's not just Eccleston, it just seems such a dichotomy for educators to close schools. That just does not make sense. But when you don't have the money, and each year, we don't know from each year, we're getting cut and we're having to share the little pie where we may have to have shared the pie with the first 2 rows of people sitting here. Now we got to share that pie that's now cut in half again with this whole room. That's how crazy the money is. I got to be real with you. When we first had the pie, just the first 2 rows, we could work that out. Now we're getting a smaller piece of the pie, and we got to now share it with the entire room. That's what we're dealing with. And it's just awful. In the words of Board Member Gallo, it's just awful what we're having to deal with. None of us are happy about what is going on. And I see 116 opposed. I appreciate the fight. But the fight is not with us. You got to go to Tallahassee. You got to vote. You got to go to the voting booth. You got to see who say they represent you, even if they don't. You have to go and deal with them. Because when they were cutting programs, our programs from different schools, IB and programs like that, parents became angry in Orange County and they made a beeline to Tallahassee I-10. And we got the program. The money was there. We got the programs back. Yes, you must express your distaste and your disagreement with us as a board. But once we are marked by statutes that we have to follow. When you come here and it doesn't work, then you got to go there, because that is where the dollars are coming from. And by law, as board members, we must follow the laws of the land. We must deal with the statutes that have been given to us. Our responsibility is governance, and we have to work with that. And to my fellow constituents, thank you for coming. I need you to come to more board member meetings, because there may be some other stuff coming down you ain't going to be ready for, but you need to start coming. You start coming so you can see what's going on. I appreciate the fight, but you have to understand, and I want you to know that none of us are happy about the decisions that we're going to have to make. And this ain't the end, beloved. Know this. Some other stuff coming. But I need you to put your boots on. And you're talking about boots on the ground, you need to have some real boots on the ground. So I just needed to share that, Ms. Neal and board members and superintendent, that we have been fighting. You know, vanity is in my way. My picture up there, baby. I don't want the school to shut down. It's more than that. It's my picture. The fact that that's a legacy school named after Dr. Eccleston, who fought and knew that children who had physical disabilities should be in school. And because he fought so hard, they got an Eccleston Cripple Homes Children's School, so the children go to school. And they named the school after Dr. Eccleston here in Orlando. So I just needed them to hear that. And I needed you to know that rather than have the children at Eccleston suffer the slings of an outrageous fortune, not having the money or the help that they need compared to other schools in other part of the district, that would wreck my nerves to know that they're not getting the same treatment as other children are in the rest of the district because they're a small school. And let me just end with this. Schools in District 5 are 100% not beknownst to any of us, we have always been underpopulated since integration has occurred and that crazy busing that went on by federal government. But it did not affect our spending because the money was not taken and we didn't have to get it chopped up for private schools and homeschool and other charter schools. The money was still here. And OCPS did what they needed to do. Whether we had 300 kids there or 20 kids, they got the same amount of money. We don't have that leisure anymore. We don't. We don't. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Felder. We have no other members of the board wishing to speak. The floor is open for a motion. Thank you.
Madam Chair, board members.
Okay, and that motion would include the recommended attendance zone for Washington Shores Elementary School to commence school year 26-27. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Member Douglas. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. Yes, Mr. Pomeroy.
You have a speaker on item 3.05.
All right, thank you. We'll take the speaker first. Thank you.
Speaker Stephen Holtzman.
Okay.
Stephen Holzman, on behalf of Orlando YIMBY, yes in my backyard, 32812. And every school is going to have those heroes that move on to bigger things. With McCoy, I was at one of those community meetings where member Salamanca was there, who attended McCoy. And this comment is not going to be so rosy. I went to Conway Elementary. I'm looking at those enrollment numbers, and they're pretty similar to some of these other schools that are getting closed. And I would be just as heartbroken if we're here next year and Conway Elementary is on that list. I met a man last night playing dominoes, and he's probably 10 years older than me. He went to Conway Elementary. I met somebody probably 30 years younger than me at the Green Schools Expo the other day at Lake Eola. And we're learning about the community garden projects, and this kid walks up and he says he goes to Conway, and then the district's going to be putting a garden into Conway, next week, or maybe that was a couple of days ago. Imagine putting that garden in, and then the word comes out, well, Conway's not going to survive either. So my request to the board going forward, and the staff generally, making sure that this is not a surprise, and that especially when we're going to the ballot box in the fall, that this is on folks' minds. I would love to see warnings go out to schools, not just those at risk of Schools of Hope, but your school has similar enrollment numbers to schools that just closed. You need to be aware that your school is endangered. I want to see those files easier to use, the student enrollment summary, so that we as the public can not just download the PDF and try and export it into something and figure out which schools are at risk. I want it in an Excel file or a CSV file so that we can look at it, or some of our reporters here maybe can look at it a little bit better and flag those schools earlier. And I want to bring back a comment that I think Chair Jacobs, that you made at one of the work sessions, where you related an anecdote where you were walking around with John Morris thinking, we're going to have to close schools. I want to know, why was that not the headline years ago? And I know there's county history that you were witness to, and clogging up the zoning. Orlando YIMBY is very much in favor of opening that up. Where you solved the problem of overcrowding, and now we're dealing with 7 problems, and it's going to multiply. I'm just disappointed that we're here like everybody. Yes, we exist in Florida. Yes, there's shenanigans down from Tallahassee, but there's also a local story here where I believe that county departments or individuals were myopic. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Holson. Let me put in context the conversation with Mr. Morris. I was discussing I think I covered this during the work session. So I was concerned about the schools on the west side of town that we were building, and we were building them and immediately putting portables because we didn't have enough capacity. And so upon getting on this board, I talked to Mr. Morris about, was there a way for us to build additional like flex space, because these schools, well, initially I just thought the schools needed to be built bigger. And that's when he pointed out that there is this demographic ebb and flow in communities. And newer communities tend to have younger families having kids. And as the community ages, you tend to see less and less kids. And my neighborhood is a prime example. My kids went to Metro West. It was, I think, almost double its capacity. And all of the neighborhoods, including my own, were bursting at the seams with kids. You know, my 4. And now there's barely a child in the neighborhood. We're having a little bit of a resurgence, but, you know, we used to have parades that I organized that were just, you know, Halloween parades, and there were so many kids. We set out at Halloween now, and the only people that come by are teenagers in cars from other neighborhoods. So he was right that there are ebbs and flows. But the point we were discussing at that time was, if we built new schools for new communities at the size they needed to be, we would eventually be in a situation where those schools wouldn't have enough students. We would see the declining enrollment. So yes, that's the conversation that we had. And yes, that's where we are today. That is the ebb and flow. And we have discussed making sure that moving forward, we notify parents as soon as possible that we're seeing these declines, and the hope that they can help with our efforts, which are underway, in trying to bring kids back to Orange County Public Schools, bring those families back. So totally agree with you that that needs to be done. There is truth to what we have explained, that we did not anticipate being in this situation this year because we did not anticipate the legislation that allows these schools to come in and occupy every vacant space that we have in any school. And if the school's half empty, initially the way the legislation, if the school was half empty, they could take that 50% and not pay overhead. Now that, I'm pleased to say that with the advocacy of a lot of school board members, including the members up here, we were able to get that legislation modified so it's more reasonable. But at the time that the superintendent came to the board and said, we really have a crisis, we really had a crisis, and that expedited the time frame. But back to your point, I agree with you. We've all said that's what we're going to do moving forward, is engage our communities sooner in the hopes that they can help. It's their neighbors who are sending their kids to charter schools or to private schools. And to be honest with you, we can do our best to get out there, but nothing that any of us can say, I don't think, is as powerful as your next door neighbor and your friend saying, hey, you haven't been here in a while? This is a darn good school. Why don't you come back? I do think that's more powerful than we can be, but you're totally right. Those parents don't even know when they're needing to be doing that unless we tell them, and we tell them as soon as possible. So thank you, Mr. Holtzman. All right, with that, Mr. Moody.
All right, we'll move on to 3.05, the consolidation and rezoning for McCoy Elementary School.
Once again, red lines indicate current elementary school boundaries. Schools involved in this rezoning are McCoy, Shenandoah, and Ventura Elementaries. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Purple is Shenandoah and green is Ventura. Here's a demographic overview for each of the schools. Please review the numbers. Summary of community responses. We received no input from families supporting or opposing this rezoning after the rule development. If approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026, and this concludes our presentation for McCoy Elementary.
Thank you. Member Vanos?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know this is Member Salamanca's school, and she's unable to be here for a very good reason. And I know she would be heartbroken to have to talk about this. And I know she's very just sad about the closing. So I just wanted to say a few words about it. I did actually attend the community meeting at McCoy. And I mean, so much has been said already up here. Member Felder, you did such an excellent job. And there are so many factors out of our control, whether it's immigration policies, whether it's birth rates, whether it's affordable housing. And I think when we think about some of those issues, it's not so much about bringing students back. They're students that never were here. It's not that they were here and they left. They're not here in many of those circumstances. And then, of course, with the effort to move public dollars to private charter schools to private entities that operate charter schools and to the taxpayer-funded voucher program, that matters because that's money that could be used to sustain these small schools that we now don't have anymore. But I also want to highlight the things that are in our control, and Mr. Holzman brought up some of those comments, and I've received a lot of engagement from parents that I think we've learned through this that we do need to be more out front, communicative, and transparent. And I think as the process has gone on, that has been more the case, and I know that will continue to be the case in the future. I am proud to see the engagement of our families, and I'm proud to see the engagement of our communities, and I hope that continues for all of the reasons that have already been mentioned. I would also just want to just have a request to the receiving schools out there. It's not easy. It's not easy for students and for families to leave schools that they've loved and to go to a new school. And I really hope that the receiving schools are taking in these families and students with open arms and really giving them the respect that they deserve and making it as easy a transition as possible. And then I'll just end by just saying that I appreciate the moment that we had to reflect on what's happening here, because it is important, and these schools, including McCoy Elementary, they are treasures, and it's just a sad day. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Vanos. Your comment about the schools welcoming those students reminded me of when one of our schools suffered so much damage that they weren't able to open. I forget what storm that was. Yeah, I don't remember what storm it was. Oh, okay. And what was it? East River that took the, yeah. And it was the coolest thing, wasn't it? Because those East River students and the principal had big welcome signs for the kids. 2 schools, 1 river. Yeah. Yeah, 2 schools, 1 river. Yeah. So it is a really nice thought. And hopefully these schools will also, like you said, welcome the kids, kind of roll out the red carpet. It's a little thing, but I think it could go a long, long way. So, all right, Member Farrant, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While McCoy is not in District 3, which is my area, Shenandoah Elementary is one of the schools that McCoy will be split into. And so I just wanted to publicly thank Principal Hitchman-Houghton for your efforts. I know that she was at that McCoy community meeting and spoke with families and has been very warm and just already preparing, if this were the direction that we would go, already preparing and seeing what she can do to make sure that those families know that she has a warm and welcoming school at Shenandoah. And so for the families that will be attending Shenandoah, I know you will be welcomed with open arms. And so again, thank you to her efforts, and we'll continue.
All right, thank you, Member Farrant. The floor is open for a motion on 3.05. Yeah.
Okay, so I motion for the consolidation of McCoy Elementary School to Shenandoah Elementary and Ventura Elementary.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Member Vanos. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and I think that's particularly fitting that you made the motion, since a lot of those kids will be going to one of your schools. Thank you. All right, we are now on item 3.06 regarding the consolidation of Meadowwoods Elementary School and the recommended attendance zones of Southwood Elementary School and Wyndham Lakes Elementary School. Mr. Moody, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. Stacy Neal.
Again, red lines indicate current elementary school boundaries. The schools involved in this rezoning are Meadowwoods Elementary, Wyndham Lakes, and Southwood. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Pink is Wyndham Lakes, and purple is Southwood Elementary. Here's the demographic overview for each of the schools. Please review the numbers. Summary of community response. We have received input from 2 families, one family supporting, one family opposing this rezoning after the rural development workshop. If approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026. And this concludes our presentation for Meadowwoods Elementary School. Dr. Vasquez.
All right, Member Farrant, you're recognized.
Thank you. So Meadowwoods is in District 3, and as every board member has stated, it really is probably one of the wildest things that we've had to, or myself, I've had to walk through as a board member. It is very difficult to sit in front of families and talk with them, knowing that, I've got 5 kids myself. I understand the struggle. You want to keep your school. It is schools become your little your kids, kind of like home away from home, and they're a little school family, and you want to keep everybody together. But as has been stated, it really, as we look at all the different aspects, the key is making sure that every school has all the resources that they need. And when the school is below capacity and is, under enrolled, and we don't have that, it doesn't have the funding it needs to sustain itself, then that's when we can't provide everything. And so we want to make sure every kid has an exceptional education. And so that is, really, we have crunched the numbers like everybody said. And I don't think I've ever thought that we would ever be in this predicament. I honestly thought probably 5-6 years ago, I remember thinking, why do we build our schools so small and every school has portables, right? I think all of us have thought that at one point, like, why don't we just build them bigger? And now we're thinking, why would we build our school so big? Like, right? It just is kind of I guess sort of the ebb and flow of community life at some point. Our housing, there's a lot of reasons. I keep telling everybody it's sort of we're in this perfect storm, if you will. It's a little bit of everything. is hitting at one time. But I know we have a lot of families in District 3. Our housing is, we're not expanding. It's more of families who have been in their house. A lot of families just stay in the area. Their kids move on to college. They don't leave. And so little ones are not in those homes anymore. They don't want to leave because the housing market is high. And so where would they go? And so there's that issue. There's other issues that I may talk about later. There's just, it is frustrating, just kind of the situation we're in. I hear a lot of talk of, pointing fingers to Tallahassee. We can point fingers anywhere we want, but really as a board, so my task is to look at our schools and say, what can I do to make sure that our schools have the best that they need, everything that they need, that we have in our capacity, in our hands, whether we're given a lot or we're given not enough, what can we do to make sure every kid has an exceptional education, that parents feel heard, because there is a lot of blame, and we can blame all we want. But I will just say this. I feel like I have to say this, frustrated, because as a parent, I sat in this audience in 2020, 2021, when this audience was full of parents frustrated with what was happening, came to this board. Some on the board were not here, but came up to this board and said, please, could you help us? We feel frustrated, began to see things, not just with the COVID things, but after that, we began to see things in the schools that were frustrating parents. And I heard board members say, if you do not like what you're seeing, there are other places you can go. You can go to other private schools. You could homeschool your kids. I heard board members say those things. And so unfortunately, there's parents and families who have lost trust in our public education. And so as a board member, I want to make sure I do everything I can to earn that trust back. Because we're at a point where I want our families to choose public schools because they're awesome. I love what we're seeing. We're heading in the right direction. But we have to earn that trust back. And for some families, that trust is lost. But we have to look within and make sure that we're looking at everything we can. But before I end, I just want to say thank you, especially to Principal Mincy from Meadowwoods for all of your efforts, everything that you have done to just be a support to your community, your families. Thank you so much to the staff. I know you've been exceptional. Thank you to Principal Figueroa and Principal McCade at Southwood Elementary and then Windham Lakes Elementary, who have attended the community meetings and are, again, they'll be ready with open arms as well to open, to bring in students. And then also a special thank you to Miss Wendy Ivory for answering all of my questions, for your hard work ensuring that all of our ESE students who are in special units are in good hands at their new schools, and then the efforts to try to ensure that those staff, I know we can't guarantee staff follow those ESE students, but thank you for at least trying to do that, because I know that helps those students and the families feel like safe, that those teachers are continuing with those students. So with all of that said, I will make a motion to consolidate Meadowwoods Elementary School to Southwood Elementary School and Windham Lakes Elementary School.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion? Or is there a second? I'm sorry, we have a motion. We have a second by Member Douglas. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. We are now on item 307. Correct? Yes.
Our next rezoning is Orla Vista Elementary Schools consolidation. Red lines indicate current elementary school boundaries. The schools involved in this rezoning are Orla Vista Elementary, Oak Hill Elementary, Ivy Lane, and Eagles Nest Elementary Schools. The colored areas are the proposed zones. Yellow is Oak Hill, pink is Ivy Lane, and green is Eagles Nest. Here is a demographic overview for each of the schools. Please review the numbers. Summary of community response. We have not received any input regarding this rezoning after the rule development workshop. If approved, this rezoning will commence August 2026. And this concludes our presentation for Orla Vista Elementary Schools consolidation. Dr. Vasquez?
Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have Member Felder queued up to speak.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Again, another one of my schools, Orla Vista, who they have been in that area for. I met a woman when we had our town meeting there. She said, all of my children have gone to Orla Vista. She says, and I went to Orla Vista. And I just felt bad because it has such rich history being in that area. And what I was so appreciative of is that there were the principals from Ivy Lane and her staff was there to welcome the people from Orla Vista and to let them know that they wanted to receive them. And again, as I explained in the closure about Eccleston, the fight is not with this board. It's with the legislators and the legislation in Tallahassee. Those laws that have come down, those statutes that have come down, and regarding the money, because we can only work with what we have. And when you're given an amount and you've been asked and told you have to distribute it, then that's what you do. And when that amount has been cut again and again and again, and then you have more people that you have to share it with, there becomes a strong deficit. It does. And I explained to the people at Orla Vista, said, no one wants school closures. No, I mean, we're educators. We don't want school closures, but we would not want to be sitting at the helm where students are not getting the same opportunities as other students across the district, because we want to be fair, but if we don't have the resources to do it, we can't. So the best way we can do is to consolidate so the children can go to a school close, which would, in this case, would be Ivy Lane, and they could get all of these resources that's needed. But I certainly appreciate the community of Orla Vista. There were so many of them that came out. They had many questions. And their concern was that, is my child going to get the same treatment? Are they going to have the love that we know they received from Orla Vista? And the principals and administration and teachers, my heart goes out because I know you've been there. Some teachers have been at Orla Vista since it opened. They've been there for a long time teaching, and they have a love for the children, for that community, and it is with deep regret because Orla Vista has been there for quite some time. It is the city, the town, the area of Orla Vista have gone through so much with the hurricanes and the flooding and just a whole lot. Now the school closing, and my heart just goes out. But I want you to know in sincerity that I want the best for the children. And I have to look at it from that perspective. And if it means that we have to consolidate for them to get the same access as other children in other schools, then we must do that. I have to play the hand that I was dealt. I might not have the high joker or the low joker, but I got an ace in every book. So I might can win that game. So we just have to do what we can do. And so, Chair and board members, Superintendent, I will put forth the motion. I move that we consolidate Orla Vista Elementary School.
Thank you. And the new attendance zones would be Vista Elementary School, I'm sorry,
No, Ivy
Eagles
Lane.
Nest, Eagles Nest, Ivy Lane, and Oak Hill Elementary
Yeah,
School,
those
correct?
schools.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion from Member Felder. Do we have a second? Second from Member Gallo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. Member Felder, I apologize for stepping out for a minute, but believe it or not, I was there at the opening of Oak Hill. When they rebuilt Oak Hill, yeah, because it was in my district as a commissioner, and Meadowwoods. And Meadowwoods was honestly a fight between the communities as to where that school was going to end up. And it is so hard to believe that we're closing both of those schools. These are not 50-year-old schools. Yeah. Now, Oak Hill was a rebuilt school, but still, it's yeah. What did I say? Oak Hill. Orla Vista, yeah. Yeah. It's not that, it's just not that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. With that, I think we are on to the consent agenda. Are there any questions or concerns about the consent agenda? If not, the floor is open for a motion. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Gallo. Is there a second? Second by Member Felder. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. And we have we have request approval. I forgot about that. We are on 1701. Request approval of the recommendation to renew the charter school contract with Lake Eola Charter School for 15 years. And Mr. Moody, is this your item, sir?
It is, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Kia Scott is making her way down. It's always a pleasure to be here before you.
Good evening, Chair
Good evening.
Jacobs, board members, and Superintendent Vasquez. Before you this evening is item 17.01, the recommendation for the approval of 15-year contract with Lake Eola Charter School. Lake Eola Charter School opened July 1, 1998 as an Orange County public charter school following approval of the school board. The school is located at 135 North Magnolia Avenue in Orlando. Lake Eola serves approximately 182 students in grades K through 8. The renewal committee comprised of school choice staff, district personnel, and others in and mental health personnel, and conducted a renewal visit on January 15th of 2026. During the renewal visit, the committee interviewed the governing board, teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders. In addition, documentation of the school's records for the past 15 years was reviewed regarding critical performance in areas including educational performance, financial performance, and organizational performance and future planning. The Board of Directors is requesting a 15-year charter renewal term. Lake Eola Charter has met all the requirements regarding renewal outlined in Florida Statute 1002.33, specifically Section 7C, 1 through 2. Section C2 states, the 15-year charter renewal that may be granted pursuant to subparagraph 1 states that must be granted to a charter school that has received a school grade of A or B pursuant to 100.34 in the most recently graded school year, and that is not in a state of financial emergency or deficit position as defined by this section. Such long-term charter is subject to annual review and may be terminated during the term of the charter pursuant to subsection 8. Based on the school's overall academic, financial, and operational compliance, it is the recommendation that Lake Eola Charter School be renewed with a 15-year contractual term.
Madam Chair.
Back.
right, any comments, questions, concerns from the board? All right, before opening the floor for a motion, I think it might be helpful for the public to understand the decisions that we make with regard to charter schools, because we've had some conversation up here about the declining enrollment, that to some extent we're seeing enrollment declines to charter schools and to private schools. So if I were tuned in or sitting in the audience, I would probably be asking why the board is considering this renewal and why we approved it in the first place. And so, Mr. Moody, I'm not saying that we're not going to approve it. I just think it's beneficial for the public to understand how these decisions get made in the context in which they come to the board. John, I'll punt to you.
So, Madam Chair, members of the board, Florida statute is very explicit on what we do with respect to renewals of charter schools. So in 1002-33, subsection 8, it says when we make a decision to renew or not to renew a charter school, it's the same as the termination standards. There would have to be a demonstration by clear and convincing evidence, which is a higher standard than a normal preponderance, that one of the following three grounds has to exist. One, failure to participate in the state's educational accountability system, i.e. they don't test their students. Two, failure to meet generally accepted standards of fiscal management due to a deteriorating financial condition. They don't have that condition, obviously. And three, material violations of the law. Their committee has reviewed, there's no material violations of the law. So based upon that, we would not have the cause to not renew their contract, and we would not have the clear and convincing evidence necessary to not renew their contract. As such, I would, of course, recommend that we approve the renewal.
Thank you. And another word on charter schools. There are many charter schools that serve, I want to say, a specific, unique population, and do it extremely well, and are supplemental, I would say, to the role that Orange County Public Schools plays. So although there are concerns that we have about when we have a school come into an area where we're already seeing low enrollment, and there's no added benefit, that creates additional stress on our schools. But again, we have other schools that play a critical role in charter schools in filling a need that it is not as easily filled through our traditional schools. So with that, Member Vanos, you're recognized. I see you pressed your button.
Thank you so much. You stated it well. I did just want to add, we had a previous meeting and I did ask the question I always ask, which is this charter school part of a franchise or some larger charter school umbrella? And the answer is no. This truly is more of a grassroots charter school. The other question I ask is about the building that they have. And I understand that they fundraise for their own building and own their building, which is not always the case with charter schools who are involved in real estate investment deals. So
yes,
just wanted to point that out. Thank you for meeting with me and sharing that ahead of time.
Yes, Member Vanos, and thank you for raising that issue. I know most of us that have been on the board for a while, that this same concerns, and some of us didn't ask because of that, but I'm glad you did. And in light of all that, I'll be pleased to support a motion to approve. We don't have a motion right now. Floor is open for a motion. Motion by Member Ferrant. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Byrd. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative. All right, we are now on 1702, which is a request for approval of a name for 97-E-SE-2. Why in the world would we want to change it? It's so catchy.
I know. I think we should keep it.
97-E-SE-2. I can just hear the victory song, right? When the kids win a game.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Good evening, Chair Jacobs, school board member, Superintendent Vasquez. Before we begin, I would like to recognize the principal of 97E, Tony Duke, and we have some of her new staff members that are there. So thank you for being here tonight.
are you also disappointed to see the loss of that catchy name? Yes. Hopefully, yes, I know, it's very catchy. Hopefully your community has come up with a great solution. Yeah, okay.
Tonight, I'm here to present 3 recommended school names for Site 97E-2 based upon input from the school's community stakeholders. From January 8, 2026 until January 22, 2026, students, families, community members, and OCPS employees zoned to attend 97E2 were invited to submit school name recommendations through an online Google survey. A follow-up online Google survey was sent on January 23, 2026 to all stakeholders on the school name recommendations submitted. Based on those responses, 3 names emerged as the most suggested. The names in alphabetical order are Innovation Elementary School. This name creates a link with Innovation Middle School and Innovation High School and also promotes a consistent school identity for families and the broader community. The second school is Story Park Elementary School. This name represents the community in which the school is located. The third name is Parkside Elementary School. This name reflects the surrounding park-oriented communities and is geographically inclusive of the broader school zone. I will now turn it over to Dr. Williams.
And to the board, it's quite clear the interest in what the community has decided on. And with that, I would turn it back over to the board member.
All right.
And to Dr. Jones.
All right.
Dr. Raheem.
Okay, turn back over.
I'm sorry, Dr. Raheem Jones in the absence of the board member. So at this point, it's quite clear that innovation is the name that the community has selected. So Chair Jacobs, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, so on
half of,
I can't really do it on behalf. I'll move that we begrudgingly change 97-E-SE. You left SE out every time.
Oh, yes.
-2,
Well,
right?
remember, we don't
Didn't-
have the southeast and west anymore because we're not geographical. So now it's
okay,
just
but
elementary and
it's
middle. I know, I miss
fondly
it. I miss the
still
W,
known
I
as
miss the SE.
97-E-SE-2
I do miss it.
to innovation. Is it just elementary school? There we go. I'm adapting to it already. It's rubbing.
Okay, we have a name. Yay.
Now, is there, huh?
Vote.
I need a second.
Need a second?
Second by Vice Chair Byrd. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries with all members voting in the affirmative. Mr. Palmerini, just for the record, as the parliamentarian, you asked me to call for the vote, and I didn't have a second.
No, I said we have to vote.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I offered.
we were clapping, and I was
Oh,
like, that usually happens after we vote. So,
darn. Gosh, I thought I caught him doing something wrong.
Okay.
All right. Next one.
So now I'm here for the second school, and before we begin, I would like to recognize the principal of 126E, Patty Harrelson, with her mighty team to start the year. So thank you for being here. Thank you.
W-4.
Yeah, 126-E-4. Okay. Tonight I'm here to present 3 recommended school names for Site 126E-4 based upon input from the school's community stakeholders. From January 20th, 2026 until February 2nd, 2026, students, families, community members, and OCPS employees were invited to submit school recommendations through an online Google survey. A follow-up online Google survey was sent on February 3rd, 2026 to all stakeholders on the school name recommendations submitted. Based on those responses, 3 names emerged as the most suggested. The names in alphabetical order are Flamingo Elementary, This name signifies the master plan community and retail center near their school. Ovation Elementary. This name represents the master plan community where the school is located. Winter Garden Elementary. This name represents the address of the school. I now turn it over to Dr. Williams.
And the board member is here. Board Member Douglas.
I really would like to announce the name of the new elementary school at Horizon West. It's Ovation Elementary School. So give an ovation. Are you satisfied, Patty? Okay, great.
Okay, I see the problem, Mr. Palmerini. So that needs to be in the form of a motion. It has to get a second, and then we have to, then we vote, and then we clap.
We're just happy for a name.
Well, I'm happy.
I didn't declare it the name, but there was so much enthusiasm. We just got ahead of ourselves. All right, so you have a motion.
So moved for the Ovation as the name of the new school.
All right, and we have a second from Member Ferrant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with all members present voting in the affirmative.
So now
All
we
right.
can clap?
Now.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
All right.
Thank
you,
you.
Doctor. You missed it. It was an exciting moment. All right, next we would normally hear from Dr. Vasquez. I did try to send her home, and she was not feeling well, but I'm glad she's on her way home. Dr. Bridget Williams, do you have anything you want to provide in way of comments for her?
No, not tonight.
Okay.
But thank you.
A wise decision.
Yes, very wise.
Yes. Okay.
I'm the sub tonight.
Mr. Palmerini.
Very briefly, members of the board, I did want to give you an update. If you remember back in June, with respect to the Disney litigation, this board voted to transfer the money to the tax collector and escrow $120 million, which we estimated would be the tax liability that we would have to pay back based upon the Walt Disney World Company's actions against the property appraiser about their valuation of the property. So we transferred that money over to the tax collector to be held in escrow to satisfy those judgments and settlements that are coming out of that litigation. Subsequent to that, we had $1.8 million came out in the form of a judgment with respect to one of portions of those property, and the tax collector did not take the money out of the escrowed funds. What the tax collector did is took it out of the distribution that was being made to the school board of the property taxes instead of taking it out of escrow. What the tax collector said was, if we ever took more money than we were going to distribute to you all in property taxes, then we would go to the escrow fund, but we would not take money directly out of the escrow fund. So as a result, we decided to ask for the money to come back to us. The the tax collector has, in fact, initiated the transfer of the $120 million back to our account so we can hold it, because it made no sense to us having our money sit there if they weren't going to pull from the escrowed funds in the first instance. So we're doing that.
Mr. Palmerini, before you move on,
Yes.
can I ask you a question regarding that? Have we been earning any interest on those funds?
Yeah, that there was interest earned on the funds,
Okay.
and that would
Okay.
be coming back to us as well.
Okay. Just
Yes.
want to make sure of that. Thank
Yes.
you. All right, next.
So that is plays into a backdrop. We also, as you all know, Renaissance has challenged the money that came out of the $1.8 million judgment, saying they weren't sure of the calculation or they're not sure that they owe it. We think that they do. Renaissance asked for mediation through the charter statute. We have agreed to mediation. The state has asked us or given us a mediator. We have agreed to the mediator, so we will be scheduling a mediation. I just wanted to give the board the update on that. We will be going to mediation with them. Hopefully we can work out a solution, but our view is the charter statute's very clear that this school board can't pay the debts of charter schools, and any overpayment of property taxes would be a debt of the charter school. So in our view, we cannot cover that liability. So I will keep you updated on the mediation after it happens to let you know where we are and what comes out of it. So that's the one item of business. The other item of business, of course, is everybody said up here tonight, we're all very sad about what we had to do here. Still hit me home a little bit because, as you all know, my grandmother taught here from 1988 to 2005 at Orla Vista. And so when I was at Valencia, I would go visit her at least once a week or so for lunch when I was there. So I had a lot of fun times at Orla Vista, and it's very sad that that school's no longer going to be there, and I just lose another little piece of my grandmother. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for sharing that. Member Gallo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just have a couple of things to report, because we're at that section, right? I'm in right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I had a teacher email me, and she has been working with the city of Orlando, Mayor Buddy Dyer, to do a proclamation. He did it last year, and she's asking them to do it again. So I just wanted the board to be aware that I will be asking for this proclamation to be added to our list of proclamations. The proclamation is about the Global Pay It Forward Day, which is recognized by people in the United States and around the world. It comes from the Pay It Forward novel, where it's just an act of kindness. It's just where you pay. We've all seen it, right? You just pay it forward and you act kindness, an act of kindness. I thought, we need a little bit of that right now. We need a little bit of kindness in this world. And if we could help promote kindness through a proclamation and support a teacher, I think that's a good thing. So I just wanted you all to be aware. I have the proclamation. I can have staff send it out to you. And I would like to add it in June. I think it's July, Bridget? July. We'll be adding it to July.
Yes, thank you.
The other thing that I wanted to mention, I had the absolute pleasure, favorite part of my job, to go speak to the National Junior Honor Society students at Avalon Middle this morning. We met from 8:15 to 9:15, and they have like 92 students in their National Honor Society. The Junior Honor Society is fabulous. So I was there, and they wanted to learn about my job, which is so exciting. There was a lot of yawns, and I was like, when you're losing your crowd. But then I got them talking about like what I do and how their voice matters, and how, when they've got to register to vote when they go get their permit, and how important it is to pay attention to what happens, especially locally. So that aspect happened. I learned a lot. I learned that there was a student program called the Pause Ticket Recognition Program that was created by students. And what it does is it creates, it was all student-led, student-initiated, is they are giving away paw tickets when they see people doing acts of kindness or doing good things or following the rules. It's outside of just academics. So these kids that are just at school being good kids will get recognized. And then they have a drop-down menu that they could choose from to spend their PAW dollars. So I just thought that was so cool that was initiated by a student. She stood up and explained it to all of us, and I was really impressed with her and her ability to articulate the program. Second, I asked them, okay, what are we doing well? And I got clubs, I got a few other things, but when I said, okay, what can we do better? That's where they kind of came alive. And so I promised them that they would hear this tonight, so I'm going to go through a couple of things that they would like for us to do better. Number one is cello. I know we've talked about cello, but for whatever reason, it's not working really well with the students in middle school. And here are just their complaints, or their concerns, I should say, not complaints. Thank you, Member Felder. When they go into cello, because they have to choose their classes through cello for 9th grade, the classes that are listed are sometimes old classes and classes that aren't available anymore. And because it's generic classes, it could be classes that their high school, in this instance, they would go to Timber Creek. It could be a class that isn't offered at Timber Creek. And what's happening, according to the students, is they will fill out their schedule on Zello, and then when their schedule is compiled, the class that they really liked or got excited about wasn't available, and then they're getting put in a class that they don't want, and then they have to go through a whole schedule change and do all that, and it's creating a lot of anxiety for middle school students, which anxiety already exists going from middle school to high school. They said that Zello was overwhelming. And that the descriptions for the jobs, they compared it to an aptitude test. They said it's like taking an aptitude test, and they said the job descriptions attached to that the descriptions aren't correct. That they didn't feel the descriptions really match the job descriptions, and they felt like the career was being chosen for them based on the questions asked and wasn't a true reflection of their passions or what they would like to see or be when they grow up. So they mentioned that. I hope I got everything, because there was a couple things with Zello, and I was trying to write them down as fast as I could, but they really just said, it's overwhelming. That Zello is overwhelming. So I don't know what we can do to help navigate that for middle schools, but anything that we could do could be appreciated so that they could have a better experience with Zello. And I have to mention, it wasn't just when the first student mentioned Zello and the problems, I had about 20 hands go up so that they could all tell me that the problems that they're having with Zello. So it wasn't like an isolated incident. It was kind of consensus on the issues that they're having with the program. The other thing they mentioned is dress code for sports, which I clarified with Karen, Mrs. Ferrano, and I'm going to talk to Dr. Vasquez when she feels better. But they have to wear baggy shorts when they're practicing for track, and it's very uncomfortable, and they wanted to be allowed to wear other attire that was more comfortable in the heat of the sun. Most like those volleyball shorts that kids wear, which Mrs. Ferrano told me that they can wear, as long as it's long enough. The shorts have to be long enough and appropriate. They would like to add a study period, which I found very interesting. So I don't know, Dr. Brown-Cannon, if that's something we could do. But when they miss school, they said it takes forever for them to catch up, which I personally was like, yes, because you want to hear that, right? Like, you want to hear, if you miss a week of school, it should take you 2 to 3 weeks to catch up. It's a lot of work to do. And they said that they would love a study period that possibly we could do tutoring in. Like, they're envisioning, have a different class once a month or a week, and they could have a sign-up schedule, and that way if they're struggling in math, they'll go to their math teacher. If they're struggling in English or science, they'll go to that teacher, and then it would be an opportunity for the teacher to help them with their issues and then have a study period. I explained to them that, everything has to be coded, and we used to do study periods. I kind of got away from them because of legislation that got passed down on how we code classes, so I would love if we could look into that. And then their sound system is broken. I'm going to address that with Dr. Border in an email, but they spend a lot of money on their sound system. They're getting ready to have a play, and they can't hear. It's so discouraging when parents come to the school because they can't hear the play. They can't hear the people speak because the sound system's so broke. And more importantly, it's the same sound system they use in the cafeteria, and if something were to happen, it's a safety concern. Because if something were to happen during lunch, those kids would not be able to hear whoever's in the lunchroom directing them to do what they need to do. So it really is a safety issue, so we need to look at the sound system. I just got a thumbs up from Dr. Border. And then they want... this one I loved. I'm telling you, they were on fire. Competition-based learning. They want us to look into do more competition-based learning. They say that when you get kids in a room and you dive into competition-based learning, that everybody excels and grades go up because kids are competitive. And it's coming from someone who is uber, super, duper competitive. I'm like, yes, that's a great idea. And then finally, the AC units, we hear that all the time. And then another one I'm going to send to Dr. Brown-Cannon. I had a student that was in 7th grade, but reading at a 12th grade level, but still was not allowed to check out The Lord of Flies because it was 2 grades above his reading level. And he was upset about that, and he wanted to check it out. He had parental permission to check it out, all of that, and we still wouldn't let him. So maybe that's something that we could address. And that is my report from Avalon Middle, and I hope the students, the teacher promised me they were going to clip this and let the students watch. So students, I promised you I'd bring it up from the dais. I will have answers for you as soon as staff gets back to me. So thank you so much, and thank you for including me in your National Junior Honor Society meeting this morning.
Excellent. Yes, Dr. Williams.
Megala, would you please send that list of concerns? And I will work with Dr. Martinez and Dr. Shonda Brown-Cannon and Dr. Border and Dr. Schuler and Dr. We'll get answers to you as soon as possible. And Dr. Bixler and everybody, all of cabinet. We'll go.
Thank you, Dr.
We'll meet
Williams.
tomorrow
These middle school kids, I so very impressed with their articulation, with their ability to speak up and verbalize their needs. I was just super proud to be there. So thank you.
Absolutely. It sounds amazing. I feel, Mr. Pacheco, was he left out? I think he might have. Oh, okay. Okay, because I felt like pretty much everybody in the back row there had a job assigned to them. Except for you and... I know, it's pretty cool. And what great input, though. Yes. Wow. Yeah, very helpful. Super, all right. Member Vanos.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. As you all know, sunshine applies, and so we don't really get the chance to talk to our fellow school board members. So it is extremely gratifying to hear when the school board member next to you is hearing the exact same things that you are hearing from your students. I had an unrelated question for Dr. Schuler about dress code for athletics. And I think it is something that I think we probably do need to address when we talk about the code of student conduct. I think our goal should be keeping kids in sports and they should be able to wear what is comfortable for them, and they should not be singled out because of their body type. So definitely something to follow up on. I've heard very similar concerns about Zello. I can share, because of my conversations, the purpose of having all of the courses on there is the school is supposed to take what a student wants to sign up for and incorporate that into the classes that they offer. So I believe that's why everything is on there, even if it's not a class that is typically offered at the school. What I hope to see is that happens, that our students are inputting classes that they want to take, and we see the result is that then those classes are offered at their high school. But I've heard the exact same thing. I also wanted to request that OCPS, someone from the community reached out to me as well about a proclamation, and so I have talked to the superintendent about it, but would like to officially request that OCPS recognize March as Brain Injury Awareness Month. As part of our OCPS proclamations, we make that decision once a year, so it would be incorporated for next year. So that's my request. And then also wanted to provide an update on the Eatonville Initiative Advisory Committee in connection with the agreement that we reached with Dr. Phillips Charities. I had been asked to serve on the advisory committee. We had our orientation last week, and I am very excited about it. This advisory committee was something that Dr. Phillips promised would be part of the moving forward, and at least half of the committee is made up of Eatonville residents, and so I am just delighted to see that the residents' vision continues to be the guiding force in the development of this property. So just wanted to update the board on that.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Member Ferrant.
Thank you. I love hearing from the students and everything that they're thinking and seeing, and sometimes things sound awesome up here, and then when it's in motion, you see that there's some kinks in it and what we can do to help with that. So I appreciate hearing all of that. I just wanted to give a shout out to a school. I don't know if I should really maybe say the name, but this school, it was an elementary school. I went to a school visit and sat with the principal and the vice principal, and I could tell something maybe had been going on, and just was kind of wondering what was up. And so as you know, they're sharing kind of the things that great things happening at their school, and I said, you guys are doing okay, everything well? And they said, actually, we do need to, we're really hoping maybe you can help us. We had a real crisis with a family, and a family in crisis. They had a family member pass away. A father had passed away suddenly, and the family was in immediate crisis. Mom had just had a baby. They've got a lot of kiddos, and I mean, just the amount of effort that this whole school, like the principal, vice principal, it was everybody. There was the SAFE coordinator. Everybody stepped up to help this family. I mean, immediately it was at the home, making sure we had if staff members were hung out at school with the kids while we figured out what was going on with mom, and just everybody working together. And they said, is there anything that you can do? I don't know what to do. Maybe you have some connections with people in the community. And I said, well, I know somebody who seems to know everybody. It's like 1-800 Dr. Williams. Could you help me? And sure enough, of course, the foundation, OCPS Foundation, stepped up. I mean, immediately, within seconds, the foundation had food cards and gas cards and whatever this family needed, clothing, I mean, you name it, supported this family, everything that they needed, supported the school, supported the teachers. So just a shout out to that, to the school, the family, OCPS Foundation. Of course, Dr. Williams, thank you for taking the time to just really help this family. So, a lot of times we go into the schools. I love our school visits. We're seeing what's going on and we're focused on education, but really there are times when we have to stop and see that there's families that need help immediately, and what can we do? And so really just a reminder as well to all of us and our schools, anybody who's watching, if there is a need, the OCPS Foundation is amazingly helpful in that. And so just so thankful. I know sometimes we want, we want to do those frivolous things, and sometimes budget doesn't allow it, but we have a foundation. So really thankful for that. And that's my report for today.
All right. Thank you, Member Farran. Member Felder.
I just want to shout out to the principal and the Washington Shores Elementary family. Congressman Maxwell Alejandro Frost visited the children at Washington Shores, and he also played the drums for them. And I just wanted to shout out to the principal and the fact that children were so well behaved. They had all the questions set up for him, and one of the teachers at Washington Shores was his fourth grade teacher, and the principal at Washington Shores was also his principal at his middle school, I think at elementary school when he was there. So I'm just so happy that our children are getting, this was a student government council group, so they are getting these experiences at traditional public schools that you can't get being homeschooled. You have to come to a public school and get those kinds of experiences. So I'm so grateful for him coming out and not thinking it robbery to spend time with the children. And it meant so very, very much for them to know that their principal was also the principal of their congressman. So I just wanted to share that. It'll be in my newsletter, the pictures and everything. I want to tell you guys that. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Member Vanos.
So I forgot to mention when I was so excited about the Eatonville Advisory Committee that I did not mention that there was an election in Eatonville this past Saturday. Eatonville has a new mayor, Ruthie Critton, and two not Congress people. It's been a long night. New members on the town commission, Angela Thomas and LaDuana Jordan. So congrats to them, and really excited to work with them in the future. Ruthie Critton. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Member. Thank you, Member Vanos. Member Douglas.
I attended the Southwest Middle School production of Beauty and the Beast this Saturday. Oh, my goodness. I just could not believe that middle school kids could have such talent. It was amazing. We were captivated from beginning to end. It was well done. The setting was beautiful. And they had a standing ovation. The room was full, and they had to have that production at Dr. Phillips High School. Yes, because their auditorium was not big enough. Okay, but I'm just telling you, it's so amazing what I've seen that those kids can do. I'm still in cloud nine, and the talent in OCPS is really limitless. I think kids are we have so many of these wonderful kids, and OCPS is wonderful. So I just want to say that next time you see the Southwest Middle School, whatever production, and the teacher is Sally Marjama, okay? Just the kids were in tears because they were graduating and go to high school, and they were leaving her.
Oh,
So they
wow.
were crying. It was just amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you. It sounds phenomenal. All right. Well, that concludes comments from the board. No committee reports. And then the meeting is now adjourned.